मज्ञानतिग्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी
Sarvabhaupati
पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे।
Sarvabhaupati Vanchakam
श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं
Shravasi
स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। श्रीमतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्य श्रवण कीर्तनं हृद्यन्तस्तु भद्राणि विधुनोति सुरसता नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। सर्वशास्त्राब्धि पीयूष सर्ववैदेक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाध्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतो प्रभु कलिदन्तोतितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेवाय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोस्तुते। मद एक बंधु मद संगीन मद गुरुन् मद महादन मद निस्तारक मन भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधु तादाइन अति नीच ताकरा हाना मुंचा कदाचिन्मा प्रेम न हृत कंथयो स्पुरः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for joining. So, today on Dwadashi, the breakfast time is 7:09, so 7:19. So we are already in the breakfast time. So let's take a quick pause. We'll just take for 2 minutes because there's just 10 minutes breakfast time. So we'll just take a 2 minute pause, just have a grain of rice, and then please come back. Okay, and we'll continue. Thank you. Okay, so we are in chapter number 22, we are in the last section of 22, the marriage of Kardamuni and Devahuti. So we'll just discuss the last few verses and complete 22 and start with chapter number 23. So in chapter number 22, a quick overview of the chapter. We saw how in this chapter started off by how when Swayambhu Manu came actually to this place where Kardamuni was actually residing, right, on the banks of the river of Saraswati. When he actually came to this place, then there was a very cordial, very respectful interaction between Swayambhu Manu and Kardamuni, and both of them were praising each other, right? So Kardamuni was actually praising Swayambhu Manu, that how, you as a king, you are actually created by Vishnu to protect all the Brahmanas, right? At the same time, Swayambhu Manu is actually glorifying Kardama, right? And then he actually makes it's actually the Brahmanas who protect the kings by their austerity. So both of them have we see a very respectful interaction between Kardamuni and Devahuti. And then after Swayambhu Bhanu, his purpose of coming was actually to offer his daughter. So he gives different reasons to Kardamuni to actually say that, okay, these are the reasons, please accept my daughter. Do not say no, right? And then he actually says that how his daughter has such a great lineage. His brother is actually none other than Uttanapad, right? And Priyavrata. And she's actually seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, good qualities, and she just heard from Narad Muni about your glories, and then that's it. She gave her heart to you, right? And she has not, married anyone else, right? And also, you yourself have not taken a vow of Naishtika Brahmachari, right? So we talked of two kinds of Brahmachari. So you have taken not a lifelong vow of Brahmachari, and you are actually looking for a wife. And when something comes of its own accord, then you should not deny it. Because otherwise, if you deny it, then afterwards you may go and you'll have to beg, and people may actually reject you at that time, right? So please accept my daughter. And then Kardamuni, he actually accepts. He says, certainly, I have a desire to marry, and your daughter is certainly most qualified, right? And then she has not given her word to anyone else. And further, he talks about that what wise man would actually deny Devahuti. She's actually so beautiful. Then he talks of like how a Gandharva named Vishavashu, he actually fell off his airplane just seeing the beauty of Devahuti, right? And right. And then he actually says that, certainly I will accept her, but he has a condition. And the condition is as soon as a child is born, I'm going to leave. I'm going to take the path which is actually practiced by the Paramahamsya Mukhya, right? Paramahamsa Mukhya. The path which is actually accepted by those Paramahamsas, I'm going to accept that path. As soon as a child is born, I'm going to go. So we'll discuss more about that, what happens in that aspect, right? And then after that, we read that how the marriage ceremony happens and how Swayambhu Manu, he gives the dowry, to Kardama. And then he is, like we are discussing in this chapter, how there's a mood of attachment, detachment, attachment, detachment. And we see how Swayambhu Manu is so attached to his daughter Devahuti, and then he's crying tears, when he has to actually depart from her. But after that mood of separation, then Swayambhu Manu leaves, and then the last section is basically how Swayambhu Manu, when he enters into his kingdom, Barismati, how that kingdom Barismati is so glorified, and because Swayambhu Manu is the father of mankind, and we, as mankind, we are to learn lessons from Swayambhu Manu. We'll actually read about the qualities of Swayambhu Manu. So there are 10 lessons that we can learn from Swayambhu Manu, and we'll read those lessons. So that's the last part. So we have like 8, 9 verses left in this chapter. So let's just start with text number 31. Okay. Any comments or questions up to this point? Everyone okay? Yes, let's continue. Okay, text 31.
Ushakashamayam barhir astirya bhagavan manuhu ayajad yagya purusham labdhastanam yato bhuvam. So anyone can start because I haven't set up the list yet. Somebody can start.
Translation. Manu spread his seat of Kusha and Kasas and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of the terrestrial globe.
So in the previous source, we actually read that how this capital of Bharismati was actually filled with all kinds of wealth. And we discussed a very nice point that like when we talk of wealth, the wealth in the Bhagavatam is always connected with the spiritual glory. And the spiritual glory of Bharismati was when Varahadev, right? We read about Varahadev in this canto earlier, that when Varahadev, his hair dropped, when he shook his body, and his hair fell off. That hair actually fell into this capital of Barismati and they became Kusha and Kasha grass. So that same grass, which is actually considered, imagine, sometimes we get the Maha of Radha Golokananda. So precious. Radha Golokananda is actually, from their have anger, it's actually they are giving their mercy. And now this is the hair, that hair of the soul. So completely transcendental. And that has become Kusha and Kasha. So that is the wealth of the Barismati. And in this verse, it Kusha Kasha Mayam Bari. So how does the name Barismati come? Bari means to sit. And then Mati there actually refers to this grass, the special grass. So Barismati, Kusha Kasha Mayam Bari. So this Swayambha Manu, he actually made seat made of Kusha and Kasha grass. And then it says Bhagavan Manu. So it is interesting, many times in Bhagavatam, these great personalities are called Bhagavan. Here, Bhagavan is referred to the greatly fortunate one. So he's so fortunate that he was taking the Maha of Varahadev and he actually made a seat. He sat on that. And then what did he do? Ayajat Yagya Purusham. He actually worshipped the Yagya Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? And then the key point here is Labdha Bhuvam Sthanam, that he actually obtained this kingdom from whom? By the mercy of the Lord. So he obtained this kingdom by the mercy of the Lord. So Prabhupada in the purport, he actually makes this point that how Manu, Swayambhu Manu, from Manu comes the word Manushya. Manushya means mankind, right? So from Manu is Manushya, right? Mankind. So hence Prabhupada makes the point. Mankind should take lessons from Manu. And what is the lesson we learned from this verse? Anyone would like to say?
Worshipping the Lord.
Okay, worshipping the Lord, yes. Now, Prabhupada elaborates in his purpose when the last part of the verse says, Labda yataha bhuvam sthanam, that he was considered that this entire kingdom, yes, I am the emperor, but this entire kingdom is actually a gift from the Supreme Personality of God. So, personally, in our life also, whenever whatever opulence or wealth we receive, we consider this is a gift given by Krishna, right? So we acknowledge the opulence as a gift from Krishna. And once we have the gift, then what do we do with the gift? We actually use it in service of the one who's given us the gift. Right? So those are two important points in this verse that, sometimes we think that when we get something, we may think that, oh, actually, I deserve this, right? We say like, I work so hard, I am so intelligent, I actually at the right time, I did the right thing, and hence I got this opulence. And we may, have so many reasons to say that, okay, this is my ability, and hence I actually deserve this result. But actually, if you think of all these parameters, then it is not us. Why? Because even if he says my intelligence, my ability, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says, I am the intelligence, I am the ability in everyone. So our intelligence and ability is coming from Krishna. Now, someone may also say, actually, it is my own good karma. I did something in the past, hence I'm getting the result now. You know. But even if you say good karma, who has designed this entire good karma? Krishna, right? And also, even though you may say, I have good karma, when the results are coming, who determines? See, I may have a big balance of good karma, but now I may be going through a bad time. Who determines when the good results are going to come? That's also Krishna. So, in any way, any opulence we receive, the credit should be to Krishna. That this is actually a gift from Krishna, and hence, when we receive the gift, we have the mood of gratitude, and we want to use that gift back in Krishna's service. And that's what we learned from this verse of Swayambhuva Manu's character. Right? And then further, Prabhupada says, if we do this, then the abode becomes almost like Vaikuntha. So we have our whole, we can consider this house is a gift from Krishna. And if we're using the house to serve the Lord, then the house actually becomes Vaikuntha. Right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what does he say? He actually says that when I enter the house and see the worship of Radha Krishna going on, I consider this house has become Goloka Vrindavan. Right? In that Shuddha Bhaktata Charana Renu Bhajan. Right? So that's the mood. So if you're getting anything using Krishna service, then that entire thing becomes spiritual. It becomes like Vaikuntha. Right? Also, Prabhupada makes a point. Okay, what is the symptom of good karma? When do you say someone has good karma?
good birth, beautiful body, opulence, and
Right.
mercy of Supreme
So
Lord.
which is this verse we see? Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shribi. Right? Going Kunti actually makes this point. Janma Aishwarya Shruti. So if you're born in a good family, right? Janma Aishwarya. Aishwarya is opulence. Right? Janma Aishwarya Shruta. Shruta is good education. And Shri is beauty. Right? So if you are blessed with any of these four, that means you have some good karma. Right? So, but Prabhupada is making a point that no one can achieve these four without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we should be grateful. We should have a heart of gratitude. Like Radhan Swami Maharaj often makes this point that yes, we are receiving the seed of bhakti, but if the heart is not fertile, the seed of bhakti is not going to grow. Right? The heart has to be fertile for the seed to actually sprout into the first two leaves. Right? What are the first two leaves? Kleshagni, Shubhada, and then further going on to the Bhakti Lata tree. Right? So, if the heart is not fertile, but how do you make the heart fertile? The mood of gratitude makes the heart fertile. You know. Having the mood of gratitude, we are grateful for everything. And we are thinking, yes, Krishna. How they often say, right? Count your blessings. Count your blessings, right? So that's what is it. Count your blessings means everything we have received. Krishna, thank you so much. And that makes our heart fertile to actually cultivate bhakti. Okay. So those are two lessons from this. And we'll discuss 10 lessons. So you can make a note of it. Okay, text 32.
Bahir Barhishmatim Nama Vibhur Yam Nirvishya Samavasat Tasyam Pravishto Bhavanam Tapatraya Vinashanam.
Okay, who's next? Let's see. The list is there now.
So Vrindavan Rasanathji, we started with Vijaya Radhika Mataji, so if you want to go. Otherwise, Vamsi Gopal.
Hare Krishna Mataji. 323, 35, right, Mataji?
32.
22, 22, 32.
22.
22, 32.
Sorry. 22. Mataji, Vrindavana Vilasini Mataji can go next if she's ready. Sorry.
Hare Krishna, I'll go next.
Go ahead.
Having entered the city of Parismati, in which he had previously lived, Manu entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of material existence.
So here it says Bahirmasi Nama. So the city name is Barhismati. It says Vibhuhu. Vibhuhu means very powerful, right? So the very powerful Swayambhava Manu, he actually Nirvishya. He actually entered into that city and Samavasat. He lived there before, right? We discussed how Swayambhava Manu, he went on this tour, right, to actually get his daughter married. So he lived there before. So he re-entered the city. And then it says, the key word here is Tapatraya Vinashanam. Tapatraya, we have heard this. Which verse we have heard Tapatraya and Mulanam? Tapatraya and Mulanam.
Janmadhyasya
No,
Desvavighnas. No?
the next one, right? Dharma Pojita Kaitava
Dharma
Saranam Satam Vedyam Vastam Atra Shivadam Tapatraya and Mulanam, right? Shivadam Tapatraya and Mulanam. So, second verse, and not the first verse. So, Tapatraya Unmulanam. Same. Unmulanam means uproot, or here it is Tapatraya Vinashanam. Now, what does this mean? Destroying the threefold miseries. He entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that destroyed the three miseries. Right? We know three miseries: Adhyatma, Adi, Bhautik, Adi, Daivik. Right? So, Prabhupada makes a very nice. He explains this that yes, there are three miseries, threefold miseries in this material body, but he says these threefold miseries cannot affect the status of Krishna consciousness. Now, Prabhupada makes a very important point here. Right. So he says, not that the miseries of material world completely vanish when one takes to Krishna consciousness. You know, sometimes we may question that, oh, he's chanting Hare Krishna, he's doing so much deity service, he's like, doing so much seva. Then how come he has so and so disease? How come he's going through so and so miseries? You know? So Prabhupada is explaining the point there is not that the miseries are completely vanished. Not completely vanished. That means what? Yes, Krishna takes away some karma. Like how we give the point that, how if you cut your finger, then what do we say? What do devotees say? Oh, I was supposed to cut off my entire hand, but Krishna is so kind, he just gave me one cut. Just to remind me and give me a token reaction. So suddenly Krishna reduces. But the token, the karma that we are getting, right? I mean, it's not technically karma, because karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, right? Krishna is giving us those remnants in such a way so that it actually reminds us about this material situation and keeps us always on our tiptoe that, okay, I need to progress in bhakti. I need to progress in bhakti. Otherwise, one could get complacent. So Krishna knows what is best for us, what lessons we need to learn, and he gives us all these reactions. But the point Prabhupada makes is not that miseries completely vanish when one takes to Krishna consciousness. For Krishna conscious person, the miseries have no effect. So we cannot stop those miseries, but Krishna consciousness is an antiseptic method to protect us from being affected. Right? So it's not that we say all our miseries go away, but we are actually empowered to how to deal with those miseries, or empowered in such a way that those miseries no longer are miseries. It does not affect our bhakti. It does not affect our duty. There was one YouTube clip of Mohan Rupa Prabhu. Maybe you know, he's a temple president of Delhi temple, many years, very senior devotee. So there was one clip of him, like after class when there was question answer, and one lady, Indian lady, she actually stood up and she was in a very challenging mood, and she told Prabhu, you're teaching all about this bhakti and everything, but I saw one of your own ISKCON devotees. His father passed away and he was crying so much. What is the use of all your bhakti? And she was challenging it. And Mohan Rupa Prabhu said, we never say that all your material things will vanish, but you will actually get the strength to deal with all those things. You will see miseries in the right perspective. Oh, why is this happening to me? What is the lesson? How will this actually help me come closer to Krishna? You will see things in the right perspective. So we are not expecting a situation of utopia that, okay, now I'm chanting Hare Krishna. That means no disease, no back pain, no stomach pain. I mean, we are in the material world. What else can we expect? But all these things will not deter our bhakti to Krishna. And on the other hand, these things can be an impetus to go deeper in our bhakti to Krishna. Right? So when it says here for Swayambhu Manu that he entered into his kingdom, that was Tapatraya Vinashanam, that actually eradicated the three miseries. Then the main point here is that because his entire he accepted the kingdom as a gift from the Lord, and he was using the kingdom in service to the Lord. So all the threefold miseries, actually one way, was vanished in the sense that it did not affect him. Did not affect him. Right? How Rana Swami Maharaj also makes this point. He says like, what did he say? Yeah. Miseries will come, but suffering is optional. Miseries will come, but suffering in that is optional. Like, we often hear about Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, right? It's his final glorious departure, right? And we hear that how in the last few days or months, like, his body was so, because of blood cancer, like so weak that even when disciples used to like just make him sit, his bones used to crack. And imagine like what pain would that would be. But what was Maharaj's situation? And he actually told Rana Swami Maharaj, and because Maharaj used to read Chaitanya Charitamrita to him every day. And then Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj told Rana Maharaj that I am actually experiencing so much bliss right now that I would not change my situation with anyone else in the world. In general, anyone like who's going through so much suffering, he'll be like, oh, please take this away. But imagine someone going through a suffering and saying that, oh, I am so happy that I will not change the situation for anyone. So that's what bhakti does. It actually empowers us in such a way that we experience a higher taste of bhakti, and those remaining things, they do not bother us anymore. Right? So very key point. Okay, this point.
Prabhu, Haripashad Prabhu is giving us a course on Chaitanya Shikshashtakam. In that, yesterday he spoke about Bhava Mahadavagni, Nirvapanam. And in that, he explained that one of the previous acharyas has explained that this forest fire is raging with ultimate heat and fire. But a devotee who is in constant, continuous, intense, and prolonged association of Sankirtan is like a person who's standing in between the forest fire, but on top of him there is a downpour of continuous, intense, and prolonged rainfall. He's aware what's going on, but he's not affected. He's blissful.
Like even samsara dava nalalida loka, right? So we are in the
So
forest fire. But
he mentions that in the first place, samsara davanal is just a forest fire, but Mahaprabhu mentions it's a mahadavagni. It is unending, never ending.
we are in the forest fire, but we have the mercy of Nitai Padakamala, Koti Chandra Shushita. We have the mercy of Guru, Samsara Dava, Nalalida Loka. So in that way, we are protected. Right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Nice points. Okay. Next verse, 33. Oh, Prabhupada also, they make the point, antiseptic. He said this is an antiseptic. Like, when you have some kind of infection, then you take an antiseptic. So that means what? It will protect you from further infection. In Shopanishad, what do you say? He says Krishna himself is like an antiseptic. Because one who connects with Krishna, then, like Ishopanishad makes a point that he says Shuddham, right? Shuddham and Apapa Vidyam. He's antiseptic in the sense that even an impure thing, when it comes in contact with Krishna, it gets purified. Right? So, okay. 33.
Sabharya sapraja kaman bhujen ya virodhataha sangiyamana sapkirti sasridhi suragayakai pratyusheshvanubhagyena vidashrivan hare kataha.
Emperor Sambhamanu enjoyed his life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles, contrary to the process of religion. Celestial magicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart. Hare Krishna.
So what is the lesson we learn from this? Like we are seeing the lessons from Swayambhu, right?
Get up early in the morning and listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, hire musicians who next to your bed, they will at the night before you sleep, they'll be singing some nice kirtan. In the morning you wake up, they'll wake you up with nice kirtan. Prabhupada mentions that in purpose. But anyway, what is the key point that we listen? Yes, that's there. But also the other point here it says Sa Bharya Sa Praja. So he was actually living with his wife and subjects. And what did he do? Swayambhu Manu Kaman. He fulfilled the basic necessities of life. Anya aviruddha. Aviruddha means against, contrary, which was not contrary to the process of religion. So that is the key point here. The key point is, yes, we live with our wife, we have our household, but we live in such a way that we are not going against the principles of dharma. Dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. We don't go against that. Right? Yes, household life means there is certain extent of sense gratification. No doubt about that. But the sense gratification in such a way that it is not contrary to our progress in devotion. And that's what we learn from Swayambhu Manu. Right? Further, he said like Sangi Yaman, Satkirti, Sastrivi, right? So is the reputation for the pious activities of Swayambhanu, along with his wives, celestial musicians used to sing his glory. Then the next part is another lesson that we learn. Prati Usheshu, at every dawn, what did he do? Shravan Hare Katha. At every morning, he actually used to hear Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 323, like how we do in our temple, right? So every day morning he used to hear Bhagavatam Katha. Right? And how we hear the Katha? What was the key word here? Anubandhena Rid Shravan Hare Katha. Anubandhena. So Anubandena Rid means with a loving, attached heart. Not that hearing Bhagavad Katha and our mind is everywhere, or we are falling asleep, or we are checking the news, or what's happening today, you know. While hearing Bhagavad Katha, he had Anubandena Rida. His heart was filled with like sweetness. Oh, so nice Hari Katha. His like heart is attached to that. So with a loving, attached heart, he heard Hari Katha. So two key points, how we can live our life. So Prabhupada makes a point that there's no restriction against living with wife and children. You know, it's not that we say, okay, take up Krishna consciousness, chant Hare Krishna, leave your family, go away. No, come on. We say no restriction against. What is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction? Sthane sthita stuti katam tanuma. Stay where you are with your wife, children. But life should be so conducted that one may not go against the principles of dharma, artha, kam, and moksha. Hmm? So Prabhupada says the Vedic system is so designed that one can fulfill the material desires and at the same time go back home, back to Godhead. We can fulfill our material desires in the sense that, yeah, we have, desire for eating nice things. We have desire for seeing nice things. We have desire for hearing nice. So our senses need some kind of enjoyment. But we are doing it in such a way that that enjoyment is also leading us back home, back to Godhead. So Swayambhuva Manu, he enjoyed household life in Krishna conscious atmosphere. And how do you do that? Hear glories of the Lord in the morning and the night. Shehnais, so he's making the point. Shehnai, maybe you have heard in Indian marriages they call Shehnai, right? Shehnai means basically the musicians. They used to gradually get up, hearing glories, and fall asleep hearing the glories. Imagine it's like, okay, night time, and then like a whole group of people come near your bed and they start doing nice kirtan. Hare Krishna, or there's some Bhagavatam shloka. And then morning time, before you wake up, again a whole group comes. And with musicians, they're actually singing and waking you, just hearing the glories of the Lord. That's how Swayambhuva Manu actually lived, right? So enjoy household life, but in a Krishna consciousness. And then Prabhupada also says, evening, he used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, right? Enjoy music before bed. And if you're evening, you're hearing Harikatha. Morning, you're getting up, hearing Harikatha. So Prabhupada makes a point. Then your dreams also will be what? You'll dream about Krishna. Right? So Prabhupada, like he said, he made the point that before we go to bed, he asked us to read one chapter of Krishna book every day. You read Krishna book, you fall asleep, then you certainly dream about Krishna. Then you wake up, there also you hear Krishna's glories. You wake up, you are Krishna conscious. When you sleep, you are Krishna conscious. So such a perfection, such a way, perfection of Krishna consciousness can be attained. The main point we see, and also further Prabhupada says, in our house we have a temple, and then there's a Mangala Arti ceremony. We wake up in the morning, we take a shower, and then there is Mangala Arti. We offer sweets to the Lord and the first darshan. And Prabhupada also makes a point that how, kings, they actually had temples in their palaces. Anyone has been to Jaipur? If you go to Jaipur, the Radha Govinda, the most famous temple of Jaipur, if you go there, then you can see the temple is in the palace courtyard. And also, you can see the deities are there, and straight across is actually top is the bedroom of the king. So imagine the king gets up, and from his window, straight darshan of Radha Govinda there. The whole thing is a palace. Like you just go inside, and the whole is like a full palace, and the center is the most beautiful Radha Govinda deities. It's beautiful, very nice. And you see in that Jaipur is like, if I'm not gone, this place certainly worth going. Especially you have to attend the Mangala Arti of Radha Govinda temple. You go for Mangala Arti every day, temple packed. And imagine it's a huge temple because it's within the palace. Every day morning, 4 o'clock, the local people who stay around the temple, they come for Mangala Arti. And the whole thing is packed. Like even in the morning you go, it's not Kartik time only. Anytime you go, morning is packed. And then they do the Mangala Arti darshan. And then all these local, people from Jaipur, they sing like such nice bhajans, welcoming Radha Govinda. It is like really touching, just be there and listen to how they actually sing Radha Govinda bhajans. And the way they, so personal. It's like, you can feel that they are like, oh yeah, this is our king. This is our master here. He is our Lord, and so touching. So it's a very worth going to Jaipur just to have darshan of Radha Govinda. So Prabhupada mentions that in the purport. He says many these royal families, they have temple in the palace, and many times they open that to the public. Like how Radha Govinda, we all can go and take darshan, right? They open it to the public, and Prabhupada says Govindev Ji in Jaipur. Right? And after the Mangala Arati, they sit down together, sing the glories of the Lord with musical instruments, and in this way enjoy life. You know? So Prabhupada in his purport again and again is mentioning the point that he's redefining enjoying life. Right? For from the materialistic mind perspective, what do we think of enjoying life? Or going out, eating in restaurants, or watching movies, or watching this, doing this. That is enjoyment. Right? Anyone you ask outside, that's their enjoyment. But now Prabhupada is saying what is bhakti doing? We are redefining our enjoyment. That initially when we take up bhakti, okay, it may seem that, okay, no movies. It may seem like, oh, my mind is still there. I want to see that, but I should not because it'll take me away from Krishna. So it seems like an bhakti seems like an austerity. But as we progress in bhakti, these same activities of Krishna consciousness will actually give us the happiness. Oh, nice prasadam today. Let's go. Let's enjoy Krishna conscious prasadam. Nice katha today. Let's go. Let's hear nice katha. So we redefine our enjoyment. And this is a very key point because in our mind is very stubborn, right? How Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter Krishna makes the point. Right? Chanchala mana Krishna. Pramati balavad dridam. It's very stubborn. And because previously the mind was used to that kind of enjoyment, even though we are finding enjoyment in Krishna consciousness, because the mind is stubborn and say, no, that is enjoyment, that is enjoyment. So we have to convince our mind that actually enjoyment is here. So almost like talking to our mind, like how Bhaja Ure Mana Shri Nandanana. Oh mind, this is real enjoyment. Hearing Bhagavad Katha is enjoyment. Going to a temple, doing seva is enjoyment. Honoring Krishna consciousness, prasadam is enjoyment. So we have to tell our mind, redefine enjoyment. And when the mind is convinced, then we are safe. Right? Otherwise, the mind will keep pulling us back to that. So we are basically moving from dream-like flickering enjoyment, which is always accompanied with distress, right? This material enjoyment. Dream-like flickering, it's like so temporary, which is always accompanied with distress, to enjoyment which is real, which is long-lasting, which is taking us towards eternal, and which is free from any kind of attachment, bondage, or miseries. That's the kind of happiness we are actually looking for. So that conversion of enjoyment from the materialistic to Krishna conscious enjoyment, that is what is bhakti. Okay. Okay. So everyone okay? Text 33. Okay. So how many lessons did we get? I have 5 on my notes. Actually 6. Anyone?
Whatever
Fulfill.
opulence we have. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, please go ahead, Mataji.
Whatever opulence we receive, we have a mood of gratitude and want to offer it back to Krishna.
Right. So that's the first point, that anything we receive is a gift from Krishna and we use it in Krishna service. Okay, first. Second.
Fulfill your desire in a Krishna conscious way,
Yeah.
not contrary to the process of religion.
Right. So here also the point it said is just fulfilling our necessities of life. Right. Devotees are not so much in need. I need this, I need this. Whatever basic necessities we need, we enjoy. So how to enjoy? We fulfill our essential. Okay. So I divided that in 2 points. So first point we already got. Second point I wrote, focus on fulfilling the essential desires. Right. Not unwanted. Sorry, I'm just thinking again and again. Radha Swami Maharaj makes a point. Unnecessary necessities. Right? We create so many unnecessary I need this to live, but it may not be needed, right? So second is focus on just the essentials. What is required basically for my griha, for my maintenance? Focus on that. Not so many unnecessary necessities. Third, how to enjoy on fulfilling these basic needs without breaking any principles or by any way which is not contrary to dharma. That is point number 3. Okay. Then anything else? I have 2 more points I wrote up to this. Tapatraya Unmulanam or Tapatraya Vinashanam.
We redefine our enjoyment in Krishna conscious way.
Yeah, so this is again point number 3, we can say how to enjoy without breaking is again redefining enjoyment. So that's point 3. So point 4 I have is how to overcome or transcend material miseries. My purpose so nicely explained that misery will come, but suffering is optional, right? So how to face this misery? One is create a Krishna conscious atmosphere. Right? And that's what Swayambhuva Manu did. And hence, even though he re-entered the kingdom, which was filled with so many opulences, it was Tapatraya Vinashanam. So our house should be in such a way that we are actually, it is Tapatraya Vinashanam. So how to overcome, how to transcend the 3 miseries. And the last point I have is how to protect oneself from falling from this standard is by listening to Harikatha with loving heart. Anubandena Hrida. How should we hear Harikatha? Anupandena Hrida. And when should we hear? Every time. Before you go to sleep, you have to hear. When you wake up, you have to hear. And every time, keep hearing Harikatha. So 5 points. Everyone got it?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. What's the last point you said? How to protect from?
How to protect oneself. Because, see, we made the point that we're enjoying, right?
Mhm.
But that enjoyment should not take us to Maya. So how to protect ourselves that the enjoyment will not lead us to like, okay, I'm enjoying the basic needs, but I need more, I need more, I need more. That's the tendency of the mind, right? So how to enjoy, but still be protected from dharma? How do you do it? By hearing Harikatha. Right? So we have to continuously hear Harikatha, and that will protect us from falling into Maya.
Thank you.
I mean, if you want, I don't know Mata's point. If you want, you can also hire some musicians who will come in the night before you sleep. They'll start doing kirtan. When you wake up, they'll wake you up with like nice kirtan and bhajan.
Hare Krishna
Well, for
Prabhu.
that we have
There is
YouTube.
also like, sorry. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Can this also be a point like redefining the enjoyment of life?
Yeah. I put in point number 3. If you want, you can read it. Add another point to that. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Next verse. We have a few more points. We have 10 lessons totally. So 34. Go ahead.
Nishnatam Yogamayasu Muni Swayambhuvam Manu Yad Abham Shaitum Bogha Nashikur Bhagavat Param.
Hare Krishna. Thus, Swayambhu Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in Krishna consciousness atmosphere. Hare Krishna.
So it's actually continuing. So Nishtatam Yoga Maya. So even though it appeared that he was engaged in Maya, because big kingdom, enjoying the basic necessities, it appeared that he was actually enjoying material happiness. But also Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains this Yoga Maya so Nishtanam, he gives another meaning, means the master of all types of knowledge of Maya. Right? We are fighting Maya. So we need to know what is Maya. And the one who is a master of knowing what is Maya, he is Yoga Maya so Nishnata. So both meanings can be there. Right? Okay. Then Swayambhu Manu. And how is he called here? Muni. Muni means as a saint. Even though he was a king, he was a saint. And what's another word for this? Raja Rishi. Right? Raja Rishi, we always say, right? King and a king, but yet he's a Rishi, he's a saint. So here same Munim is used for Swayambhu Manu. Then further, Abram Sayitam Bhoga. He did not deviate or was not dragged to the lowest grade of life. Na Shekuhu, right? Why? Bhagavad Param. Because he was a great devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he enjoyed in Krishna conscious atmosphere. So Prabhupada is again and again bringing that point. Yes, enjoyment. He was enjoying as a king, but in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. And very practical point for us as Grihastha. So we enjoy, but in Krishna conscious atmosphere. So Prabhupada makes the point that normally a kingly state, a king the happiness of material enjoyment, it drags one to the lowest grade of life. Which is a famous story that comes to our mind when we think of that normally is considered that the king means he's in Maya. What's the famous story?
Jada Bharat's king becoming deer, deer becoming Jada Bharat.
I was thinking of King Pratapurudra. So in King Pratapurudra, even though he was a king, right? And we see how he wanted to have darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when the Sarvam Bhattacharya and he came and he gave the proposal to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, I have a request from you. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, yes, you can make the request, but I am going to decide whether I'm going to accept it or not. Right? And then Sarvam Bhattacharya said, this king, he wants to take your darshan. He's a great devotee and he wants to take your darshan. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, what are you asking, Sarvam Bhattacharya? King is a worldly man. I am a sannyasi. How can I actually connect with the king? But then Sarvam Bhattacharya said, yes, he's a king, but he's a devotee. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes that verse. What is it? The famous verse? Ha Hanta Hanta. I'm forgetting his famous verse. Anyway, I can find it out. But he basically quotes a verse and he says that for a sannyasi, for a person in renounced order life, even though he is a devotee, but because as a king, I cannot accept. And he gives the example, that verse gives the example. Just like a renounced person, he may see even a wooden doll in the shape of a woman and get attracted, right? So hence he should stay away. So similarly, I should stay away, right? But then later on in the pastime, it said that how the king again he asked Sarvam Bhattacharya, so did you make my proposal? What is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying? And then Sarvam Bhattacharya actually said that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, he cannot meet you. And then the king actually said, oh, if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cannot meet me, then I am ready to give up my life. And then when Sarvam Bhattacharya heard this, like Chaitanya Charitamrita makes this, he says, Ashcharya. He was surprised. How come so much devotion in a king? Certainly, he's already received the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to have that level of devotion where he's saying, if I don't get darshan, I'm going to commit suicide. So, anyway, so that's the point. So Prabhupada here is saying that normally a king means one is dragged to a lowest grade of life. There's unrestricted sense enjoyment, just like an animalistic life. That is normally for a king. But Swayambhu Manu was not like that. He was a saint among kings. He was a Raja Rishi. So he's considered as good as a saintly sage. Right? Why? Because his entire atmosphere was in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says, similarly, like Swayambhu Manu, if we create a Krishna conscious atmosphere at home, we have household deity worship, then in spite of material enjoyment, we can make advancement in pure Krishna consciousness without doubt. Right? So this is where lesson number 6, that our entire griha should be very Krishna conscious. We enter a house, there should be a beautiful altar of Radha Krishna, Radha Golokananda, Radha Govindev. A beautiful altar with Gaurnitai deities. Right? That should be our house. Right? And then everywhere in the house, how much wall space you have. Every wall space you actually put a nice painting of Radha Krishna or Gaurnitai, Prabhupada. Fill your house with Krishna. I mean, do we have a shortage of paintings? It's like, you have so many paintings and you see another one is like, oh, so nice. I want to have this on the wall. There's no wall space. It's all filled with painting. But the point is like, make it totally Krishna conscious. Like recently I was seeing some painting was there and I was like, it was some, how they have these modern arts, right? And I was looking at the painting, I was like, it was just like some lines like this and I was saying like, what painting is this? It's like, it is like they are just saying, okay, I did something, you speculate and you glorify it. And it's like, what is that painting? It was just like lines like this. There was dot here, and I was thinking like, what is this? No meaning, nothing. Like the painter thought of something and he thought this, and anyone for the looker is like, you imagine, you speculate, and you say, okay, appreciate my painting. It's like, instead of that, put like nice Krishna conscious paintings everywhere. Even in the bathroom, you can put nice shlokas. So every time you enter the bathroom, you're reading nice shloka. On the mirror, you should have nice shloka. So when you're brushing your teeth, you're reading Dharma Projita Kaitavatra Paramo Nirmatsalanam Satam. You can have nice shloka. So everywhere you are, make it Krishna conscious. Right? Krishna conscious. So that's lesson number 6. So Prabhupada says that in Kali Yuga, people are very much absorbed in Maya, in sense gratification. Therefore, a Krishna conscious movement is giving the best opportunity. Why? Two things. Regulate habits in life of sense enjoyment. So Prabhupada again and again in section for Griha is saying, it's not that we are completely saying, okay, no sense gratification. There is some level. Griha means there is some sense gratification, but we are regulating our habits in sense gratification. At the same time, we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is what we are giving to the whole world. Right? So we are not saying a dry life of sense gratification, but a life which is actually regulated and focused on chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, so point number 6 is how converting our house into a abode of the Lord, right? Having a completely Krishna conscious atmosphere. Many times we come back from work and work is like, so associating with people who are not devotees. And we should actually have that mood that we step into our house and there should be kirtan, there should be altar, and immediately you feel like, okay, now I come into a temple and feel that satisfaction of coming into the Krishna conscious atmosphere. That should be how the house is. So 35. Okay.
Yatayamastasyasan yamasvantarayatanaha Shrinvato dhyayato Vishnu Devato Bhuvata Kataha. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of a Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord.
Okay. Swa Antara Yapana. His duration of life was coming to an end. Now, what is the duration of life of Swayambhuva Manu? One day of Brahma, how many Manus are there? 14 Manus. So, and each period of Manu is 71 Yuga cycles, right? So when you say Kali Yuga, okay, Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, Kali Yuga, that multiplied, this entire period multiplied by 71 plus some balance is there. That is the lifespan of Manu. Compared to that, what is our lifespan? It's like a blink. Like you do like this, that's it. Compared to Swayambhuva Manu, our life is just like this, right? So here it says Swa Antara Yapana. The duration of life of Swayambhuva Manu was coming to an end. And Ayata Yamaha, though he had a long duration of life, he did not waste any moment. Time was not spent in vain. And what did he do with the time? 4 things. Shrinvataha. So this is again the next point we learn from Swayambhuva Manu. Shrinvataha, that we know, hearing, always hearing Krishna Katha. We already heard that in the previous verse. Then it's not only hearing. After hearing, what do? Dhyayataha. We have to contemplate. You have to say, okay, what did I hear? How is this practical to me? How does this glorify Krishna? How does this actually help me grow my attachment to Krishna? So that contemplation has to be there, right? So Shrinvataha, then Dhyayataha, contemplating. Then next is Kurvataha. Kurvataha means, okay, I heard this. How can I act? How can I live my life based on what I heard? Or Kurvataha can also mean writing, like journaling. Right? We often now more and more devotees are talking about this concept of journaling, that we actually say, okay, this is what I heard, this is what I thought about it. Okay, journal it. You write it down. Either that writing is, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, that Swayambhuva Manu, his writing down means he was writing in his own words what he saw, what he heard, and what was spoken. So in his own words, he was actually writing composition, glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that Kurvataha could actually mean acting on what we heard or writing down our realizations and glorifying Lord in that way. Right? And then last one is Bhruvataha. And next verse will actually describe how he was doing Bhruvataha. So Bhruvataha means speak. So his entire lifespan, which is actually so long, was engaged in these four. And then Vishnu Katha, all these four were of pastimes of Lord. Shinvataha, Dhyayataha, Kurvataha, and Bhruvataha. And that's how we need to spend our life, right? So Prabhupada says in the purport, freshly prepared food. This is a nice example for Dwadashi. Right? Dwadashi, hunger is normally more. So freshly prepared food, very tasteful. But after 3-4 hours, then it becomes tasteless, it becomes stale. Similarly, as long life is fresh, material enjoyment endured will be you will enjoy. Right? If you have youth, your senses are active, your life is, you're young, you can enjoy your senses. But as the age, senses that, okay, eyesight cannot see so properly, hearing goes down, all our age, as it comes down, then what happens? Then everything becomes tasteless. And this is actually said that even like, materialists, when they grow old, what happens like, I mean, this is a concept that they talk about, midlife crisis. Like they say 40, 50, 50, they only say that they have money, but they don't know how to enjoy that money. And because their senses also are now going down, they'll buy a new like sports car or something at age of 50. Why? Because they don't know how to enjoy, right? And as they progress, the desire for enjoyment is still there, but the senses are incapable to enjoy, right? And that becomes very frustrating. I want to eat this nice prasadam, or not prasadam, devotee. Sorry, I want to eat this nice food, this nice sweets, but problems, diabetes, this problem, I cannot eat. I want to enjoy this, but I cannot do it because my senses are now. I want to hear this, but hearing problem, right? So Prabhupada makes a point. Initially in our youth, we may be like, oh yeah, enjoying this, but as age grows old, everything will actually feel like, oh, I cannot enjoy. I want to enjoy, I cannot enjoy. And hence, there is so much frustration. Right? But for a devotee, what is it? Life remains as fresh as in the beginning, right? Like for Swayambhu Manu. Like if our life is completely dedicated in Krishna consciousness, then how are we enjoying? Our enjoyment actually for a devotee is what? Enjoyment is from within. Happiness is from within. He is not dependent on the external to enjoy. So even though he is growing old, but the enjoyment is within. Whatever is our age, however we are progressing in life, any place we just sit, we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, and we can experience the highest happiness. So this is a comparison between the life of a devotee and a life of a materialist. So Swayambhu Manu, he was deriving happiness not from senses, but from accessing the inner spiritual enjoyment, right? Hence, he's actually, in this verse, it says, he's the greatest yogi, right? Because he was relishing the inner rasa, and then also because he never wasted his time. What does Nectar of Devotion say in terms of not wasting time? One of the symptoms of a person in Bhav Bhakti is what? Avyartha kalatva. He will not waste a single moment not using Krishna's service. Avyartha kalatva. And practically you can see if you don't waste any time, then Krishna actually empowers you with more and more time to do more seva. I heard Keshav Swami, SP Keshav Swami, was making this point that, that because he was in the ashram and he was saying that every day before he sleeps, he writes down, okay, today I did this, 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 this. And from so and so time, I was doing this seva, this seva, this seva. And whole day, at the end of the day, he looks at the entire day and says, okay, was there any time which I wasted? Can that time be used in Krishna's service? And he was making a point that often he used to see, because he was in the ashram, so like whole day I was engaged in seva. And he was actually making the point, whole day when I saw that when whole time I'm using Krishna service, Many times people, situation came and just someone came and said, oh, you had this on your seva? Oh, it's taken care of. Like Krishna just makes things happen and you don't have to focus, and Krishna gives you more time to actually do seva. You get empowered to do more in life. So he was making this point very practical. Really appreciate this point. And Prabhupada also talks of Swayambhu Manu's lifetime, 71 yugas multiplied by 4.32 million years. We are talking in 10, 70, 80 years. Now, this is 4.32 million multiplied by 71 yugas. That is the lifespan of Swayambhu Manu. And yet, he did not waste one moment in life. He was not thinking, okay, 71 yugas are there, right? Divya yugas. 70 yugas, I will enjoy. 71st, I will do bhakti. That's the normal thinking of Indian. You ask them, oh, take Bhagavad Gita. When I'm old, I will do it. But that's not Swayambhu Manu. From entire lifetime used in Krishna service. So what is point number 7 here? Not to waste any moment of our life. We learn from Swayambhu Manu and engage in what? These 4 aspects. What is it? Shrinvataha, right? Hearing. Then second, dhyayataha, contemplating. Third, kurvataha, that means actually acting upon it, or also journaling or writing some articles glorifying the Lord. And fourth is bruvataha, speaking. Right? And that's how we engage our life. 36. 3 more shlokas are there.
Evam swantaram nimye yuganam ekasaptatim Vasudeva prasangena paribhuta gatitrayaha.
Hare Krishna, 322:36. He passed his time, which lasted 71 cycles of the 4 ages, always thinking of Vasudev and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudev. Thus, he transcended the 3 destinations. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So here it says, Swa antaram eka saptamim. Eka is 1, saptamim 70. So 71 yugas he passed, yugana. And how did he do it? Vasudeva prasangena. That's the key. He's passed 71 yugas in connection with Vasudeva. He was hearing topics connected to Vasudeva. And therefore, what was it? Paribhuta gatitrayaha. He transcended 3 destinations. Now, what are 3 destinations? There are 4 sets of 3 destinations. First one, right? 3 destinations is the states of consciousness, right? So that is Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. Everyone knows this? Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. The reference for this is 11th canto, 13th chapter, text 27. It also comes in other places, even in the, I think, 4th canto. No, even in teachings of Kapil Dev it comes. But 4th canto also it is there. But here there's a nice reference from Uddhav Gita, 11, 13, 27, where it says, Jagrata Swapna Sushuptam cha Gunato Buddhi Vrataya Tasam Vilakshano Jiva Sakshitvena Vinishchitaha. Right? So basically it says what are these 3 states of consciousness? Waking, sleeping, deep sleep. Right? But all these 3 states are only functions of our intelligence. And how this verse is, Gunato Buddhi Vritaya, is because of our buddhi, state of intelligence, and Gunato, because of the 3 modes of material nature. But then it says, Tasham Vilakshano Jiva. But the Jiva, what is his situation? What is the natural state of a Jiva? Is it Jagrataha? Is it Swapna? Is it Sushupti? Neither of these. Right? It says, Sakshitvena Vinishchitaha. The state of the being is that of Shakshi. Shakshi Gopal. Shakshi means what? Witness. The state of the Jiva is witness to these 3, and the real state is that he is actually Turiya. Turiya means he is in transcendent state. Right? So the real position of every Jiva is that he is in Turiya. So when in this verse it says, Swayambhu Manu, he transcended three destinations. That means he was witness to the activities of awakening, dreaming, and unconscious state because he was in the spiritual transcendental state. Okay, everyone? Understand this point of Turiya? It's a stages of consciousness. So Turiya is also, these stages are compared to a flower. Right? So it's a closed flower, then slightly blossoming, and then, oh, okay, first is a bud, then the closed flower, then slightly blossoming, and then full blown. So human form of life is actually considered as slightly blossoming. Why? Because in the human form of life, we can actually come to the stage of Turiya, fully blown flower. So that is the perfect stage where we are directly Krishna conscious and we are directly in connect to Krishna. So first aspect, right? Second aspect of three destinations. What is it? Prabhupada talks about the Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Three modes of material nature. And what is the verse from Bhagavad Gita that it says the one who is connected, always connected, Vasudev, he transcends these three modes? This one everyone should know. 14th chapter. Mom.
Traigunya Vishaya Veda.
Yeah, that is also there. Yeah, Traigunya Vishaya Veda, second chapter. But 14th chapter, particularly when he talks of three modes of nature, how does that conclude? Mam cha yo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samateta brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who actually engages in bhakti yoga, sagunan, he transcends the three modes and brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He comes to brahma bhuta state. Right? So that's how you transcend the second of the three destinations. What is the third of the three destinations? So Prabhupada mentioned dharma, artha, and kama. Right? And how does a devotee transcend these aspects of dharma, artha, and kama? And Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bilva Mangal Thakur. Let me see. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, Bilva Mangal Thakur, a great devotee of the Lord, states, and he doesn't put the Sanskrit, but the Sanskrit is actually, if you search in Veda base, it is starts with bhaktis, 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 space, toi, Tvayai. Right? Just search that in Vedabase, you'll find the reference. Bhakti stoi stiratara. Prabhupada quotes in lectures, you can hear it. Stiratara Bhagwan yadi syat daivena na falati divya kishora murti mukti swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman dharmartha kama gataya samaya pratiksha. Dharma, artha, kama. Right? So these three, a devotee transcends. And how does he do that? So this verse says, "O my Lord, if one engages in pure devotional service with determination, you become visible." How? Divya Kishora Murti, in your original Kishora Murti, in your original transcendental youthful form. As far as liberation is concerned, she stands before the devotee with folded hands, waiting to serve the devotee. And religion, economic development, and sense gratification are all automatically attained without a separate endeavor. Dharma, artha, kama are automatically attained without a separate endeavor. So that's how a devotee transcends this dharma, artha, kama. And the last one, three destinations, is Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adi Adhyatmik. So we already discussed that point earlier also. Tapatraya, Vinashana. So there are four sets of these three destinations and how Swayambhu Manu, he conquers these three destinations. So this is point number 8 from the lesson, how to conquer three destinations in terms of consciousness, in terms of gunas, in terms of dharma, artha, kama, and in terms of the tapatraya. Good, everyone? Proceed. Text 37.
So this is the verse, right? Bhaktistvai sthira radha yati bhagavan said dalena phalate divya kishora murti, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Krishna Karnamrita 107.
Krishna Karnamrita 107, yes. So nice verse. It says, Daivena na falati divya kishora murti. That means what? You get darshan of the divya kishora murti, the youthful form of Krishna, right? When you engage in devotional service. And then once you get that, then what happens? Mukti, like how for Dhruva Maharaj. When he was ready to step on the airplane, Mrityu came and said, "Here, I'm at your service." And Dhruva Maharaj said, "Okay, I accept your service." Put his feet on death personified, and then he climbed up on the airplane. Okay. Text number 37.
Sharira manasa divya vayase ye cha manushaha bhotikascha katam klesha badhante hari samshrayam.
Therefore, ho Vidura, how can persons completely under the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into miseries pertaining to the body, the mind, nature, and other men and living creatures? Hare Krishna.
So Katham Klesha, so he's like concluding, Katham, how is it possible? Klesha, the threefold misery. Badha, how can the miseries badha? How can the miseries actually badha one person who is Hari Samshrayam, who has actually taken shelter of Lord Shri Krishna? The miseries pertaining to Sharira, body, back pain, headache, right? Stomach pain, all those. Manasaha, mind, right? Mind is always complaining. Then Divya refers to demigods, or Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says also Divya refers to a place of ghosts. Ghosts cannot bother a devotee. Problems because of ghosts, they don't bother devotees. Manushaha, other men, and then Bhautikaha, other living entities, or from nature. All these problems do not bother a person who is actually Hari Samshraya, who has taken shelter of Lord Hari. Okay, 38. So we already discussed this point, how devotee is transcendental to all these miseries. 38.
Yaprishto munibhi praha dharman nana vidan shubhan nrinam varnashramanam cha sarva bhuta hitasada.
Hare Krishna. In reply to questions asked by certain sages, he, Swayambhuva Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of men in general and the different varnas and ashrams.
Here, Prishto Munibi. Prishta means question by Munibi. So different munis, they used to come and ask questions to Swayambhuva Manu because he was such a glorious king, such a devotee of a Lord. And then what did Manu do? Raha. He spoke. And what is Sarva Bhuta Hitaha Sada? So this is point number 9. We learned from Swayambhuva Manu that how should we speak? Sarva Bhuta Hita. It should be for the benefit of all the living entities. Out of compassion for all living entities, we should speak in such a way that somehow or other they can actually get elevated in their Krishna consciousness. Right? So always you should speak in such a way, considering this point. How will it actually help that person progress in bhakti? And then here we also have a list of what Swayambhuva Manu spoke. Dharman, he spoke of Nana Vidhan Dharman. So many different duties for people. Shubhan Rinam, that would actually lead to auspiciousness for human society. Varna Ashrama, about the different varnas and ashramas. So he spoke about all this. People had, okay, what is the duty of a Vaishya? And then he gave all the answers and so on. So 9, that's 9 point. And last look at 39.
Ekatha adi rajasya manoshcharitam adbhutam varnitam varnaya yasya tad apatyodayam shinu.
Hare Krishna. I have spoken to you of this wonderful character of Swayambhuva Manu, the original king, whose reputation is worthy of description. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devahuti.
Charitam Adbhutam. His charita is Adbhuta. And hence, Maitreya Rishi is actually describing all this. Charita Adbhuta means his charita, his quality, is Adbhuta, is wonderful, right? And Adi Raja, he is the original king. Manu is the original king, Adi Raja, right? So thus I have actually Vanita, I have described to you this wonderful character of the original, the first king, Swayambhu Manu. And then Varna Niyasya, his reputation is worthy of discussion. And hence I have actually described this to you. Now he says, Tat apatya. Now, what am I going to describe? Udayam Shunu. I'm going to describe how his daughter was flourishing in her household. Swayambhu Manu went back to his kingdom Bharismati. So we read about his glory. Now we'll come back to the scene where Kardamuni and Devahuti have got married, and then what happens after they get married. So that is next chapter. So it's interesting. This chapter is titled what? Marriage of Kardamuni and Devahuti. We read about their marriage. Now married life. The next chapter should be married life of Kardamuni and Devahuti, right? What was the next chapter? Devahuti's lamentation. And so the last point from Swayambhu Manu, I actually wrote in the last verse 39, is when we are reading all these qualities of Swayambhu Manu, overall, we see that mood of attachment and detachment, nectar of attachment and detachment. And that's the theme of all these chapters we are reading. So practically a lesson from Swayambhu Manu's life is also to actually see in our life that there will be some moments where there's attachment. And we are not actually like how Swayambhu Manu was attached to his daughter. I mean, we don't artificially repress that attachment because, yes, father, attachment to daughter, that's natural. Bhakti is not artificial. So he expressed those emotions. So that there was nectar of attachment, where emotions, rasa there, right? And then nectar of detachment. He was a king, yet he was totally detached. Right? So his entire life was a balance of attachment, detachment. And that's how we should see our life. Nectar of attachment, nectar of detachment. So that was lesson number 10. Okay, everyone, this chapter. Let's see any comments, questions, realizations.
Hare Krishna, Babaji, I like the point. The life in Krishna conscious, the life of a Krishna conscious person is always fresh. It never gets stale.
Yeah. I mean, that point is like spoken in the outside world also, that how desires are there, but our senses are incapable of fulfilling the desires. And that's actually very frustrating. You want to eat, you want to see, you want to do this, but cannot. I want to, anyway, I was going to tell an example, but it's okay. When you grow old, still the desire is there, like, oh, I want to run, I want to climb this mountain, I want to go hiking, but our legs will not support us anymore. So that's frustrating. But for a Krishna conscious person, yeah, the limitations are there, but his enjoyment is not from those senses. His enjoyment is not external, enjoyment is internal.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I like the point that even if Swayambhu Manu's lifespan was so huge, 71 Divya Yugas, still he did not waste a single moment of time.
Thank you. That's a key point because when we see Rupa Goswami's 9 points of Bhav Bhakti, first one is Avyartha Kalatvam, and all these points are points worth meditating, and we can see how gradually we can actually develop those 9 qualities. And if we are developing those 9 qualities, then we are progressing in our path of bhakti. Okay.
Hare Krishna. I like how you listed all the 8 lessons that we have learned from here, and it's very practical. Although difficult, we have to concentrate and achieve those. Try to achieve those.
You got 8. I have 10 on my notes. Anyone got 10?
Prabhuji, last point, you said point 8, always speak for the benefit of all living entities. But I didn't get the 9 and 10.
Did you have how to conquer the 3 destinations? Do you have that point? How to conquer?
Yeah.
You have? The last point is nectar of attachment and detachment.
Oh.
In the sense that, we are in Griha, so there will be natural attachment to our relatives, but that shouldn't be like, oh, I am a devotee, Hence, I cannot show my attachment to my kids. That is in their face is that. So there's attachment, but also you have to say, okay, now attachment. They are married. Now nectar of detachment. I have to experience that. So,
Prabhu, thinking that why is this writing is mentioned here? Because Bhagavatam does not unnecessarily writes use of Sanskrit words. It could also mean Manu was writing Manusmriti.
oh, yeah. Manu Samhita.
Yeah, I mean that's like the vastest book possible. And see how everybody is coming and asking him questions and he's giving answers. Those questions or answers are in Manusmriti.
Like one devotee asked Prabhupada, like, Pat, can we get a copy of Manu Samhita? Prabhupada said, if you read, you'll faint. So better you just focus on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
I think Prabhupada did also say that regarding Hari Bhakti Vilas also, because the yes or no's of Hari Bhakti Vilas are also like
Very strict,
you live.
very high standard. I mean, Prabhupada, like, at least some places we find quotes from Hari Bhakti Vilas. And also Manu Samhita, some places in Bhagavatam we see quotes. So at least those quotes Prabhupada has given so that we know, okay, those sections let's focus on. Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
I like the point of how to protect ourselves because it's a little scary. Like when you try to enjoy in this world, even if you think, okay, this is the enjoyment that's part of my, grihastha life, but it's a little risky when you try to even enjoy it lawfully. You can start to get in a mindset of I'm the enjoyer. So how to protect ourselves every day, every evening, every morning, try to just remind ourselves by hearing Harikatha.
That's a nice one.
I kind of had one question about nectar of attachment and detachment. Does it mean like while we're attached that we at the same time we're developing detachment? Like let's say we have attachment to a family member, but internally we're attached. Externally we're showing, but internally we always remember, okay, it's Krishna's child and Krishna's whatever. Krishna's part and parcel, and I'm just like, is it internal kind of detachment while we're showing attachment? Or is it just a time frame where now is a time where I can just be attached and now is the time where I can be detached? Or is it simultaneous?
I mean, like the point is like, let's say family members. Like, okay, like why? Okay, we are connected with someone. We have so-and-so child in our family. Yes, we can see them as Krishna's child and be attached to them. And have that attachment like openly from our heart. Like at that time, we are not like, okay, externally I am attached. I will show symptoms of attachment, but internally I am detached. I mean, that's being a hypocrite one way. It is okay, this is Krishna's child, let me take care of him. Like how, that famous story of how Prabhupada said, oh, your children to a mother, your children are your deities now. So serve them as your deities. That means what? See the child as Krishna's mercy, as a gift, and then fulfill, open your heart, express your emotions to the child. But also understand that at a particular time, when they grow up, then it is time, okay, now I have to start detaching. The first symptom is as soon as the child is like, okay, married, that's it. That means we have to like start withdrawing. And also like, I think about this point that the nature of like how, even children growing, like in the teens, when they come to the age of teens, then they have their own thing that, oh, I don't want to listen to my father. I know more than my father. And all that attitude is actually already developing a spirit of detachment in us. All right. And then when they are married, it's like, okay, let them take care of themselves. They'll figure it out. So, yeah. So that mood is also like, one way helping us towards the mood of detachment. But when they're younger, then you are loving a child, like just openly, just like this is Krishna's child, express openly. So that we are experiencing the attachment. And then gradually, as the time progress, yes, Arun.
Yeah, just to add something. The new trend is children doesn't want to get married. So once they are independent, like 18 plus, leave them alone. When they say we are independent, That's the new trend. They don't want to get married. What can we do, Prabhuji?
I mean, yeah. I mean, one way also a duty of parent is actually to see that their children are married. But if with the influence of Kali Yuga, they have their own thing, then what to do? What to do? But in general, like, we should at least
Try.
try towards that. Yeah. But, okay, they're married, nice spouse, and then let them take care of their griha. And we read previously also how Swayambhu Manu did his duty.
Yeah.
Right? We read in the shloka that Prabhupada says that it was duty of his father. Though he was the emperor, he could have said, "Oh, you minister, my daughter needs to marry. You take her." No, he himself went to find a suitable husband for his daughter. And Prabhupada mentioned that point, that it's a duty of that husband to actually make sure that the children are married to get a good spouse. And also in that section, we read about how you must remember that point, right? We discussed that point, that how the children may not be able to see that
Yeah.
who is a good spouse, but the parents, because they can see the character, they can see beyond just the physical attraction. They can see the character, they can see how they are in their spiritual life. The parents can see. So then parents can, use that ability to make sure that the children are married to a good spouse.
Prabhupada says, don't leave them to find their spouses on the streets.
On the street. Yeah, yeah.
Very strong.
It's a strong point.
I mean, the section is a lot about grihastha. And I mentioned that earlier also, whenever like devotee marriages and someone is giving a class, normally they select a shloka from this section.
Mhm.
And then further also, we are going to read next chapter. Now, we just read about they get married. But what happens after that? Right? So next chapter starts off with how Devahuti serves Kardama and the qualities that she has in serving her husband. It's very interesting.
I just want to mention that Prabhupada tried his children to get married, but if that was not happening, he didn't wait.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So we try our best, but remaining if they have their own independence or whatever they don't want to follow, then that's beyond us. Then detachment.
Prabhu, we have been talking about how like younger children's, like children to growing old, but how do we really do this when it is your parents or elders in the family who has departed, or at those in situations like we have been seeing them from birth, and then suddenly one afternoon he's gone, so at that time how do we develop like sudden detachment, like you see how what I'm trying to say is like when we are small, the children are growing up, we see, as you mentioned, the tendencies of let me do, we automatically develop the detachment. But in certain situations where like it's an immediate family, immediate somebody who departs from the world, and you have nothing can stop that event, so
So from this, in reference to what we are reading, when Swayambhu Manu was actually giving away his daughter Devahuti, then how it is described? He was actually profusely crying tears. That section actually says, unable to bear the separation, he poured tears from his eyes again and again. So, I mean, when a relative, a close relative passes away, it's like it is natural to actually shed tears. At that time is not the time to think, oh, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. I mean, it's not philosophy. That time we are actually expressing our emotion. And actually, in our bhakti, actually, any emotions, if you see, I mean, in general, a rasa, or the taste of life is emotions. Right? Anyway, the taste of life, it's not material things, there's no rasa in that. The taste is actually expressing those emotions. So even there, that point of expressing emotions is needed. Somehow, even they make the point that when someone passes away, it's good to cry because that cry, that tears will actually help you overcome the grief. Because it may happen that you don't accept the fact that so and so has gone, and then you're in so much shock that you cannot even cry. At that time, you would actually, that person is good for that person to cry, because then he's actually accepting that, oh, now this person is gone. So, I mean, bhakti is natural that way. I feel like, okay, you cry. But then what helps us develop a spirit of detachment? Time. Time. Initially it will be like weeks, days, weeks. You'll be thinking of all the memories. And I mean, it's, it is natural. It is natural, but you can always pray when you're thinking of that. You can say, Krishna, he's gone. Please, wherever he is, please, keep him in association of devotees, let him always be engaged in your service. You can always pray with those memories, But as time progresses, then you continue with your rest of life. The memories are there a little bit, but they also fade. Time is the best healer that way. But at that moment, express. That's.
But Prabhu, is this applicable to Vaishnavas? Because as per Ramananda Rai, it is not.
I mean, Vaishnava, the connection is different, right? Vaishnava connection is always there, right? Even though they are away, they're still connected. We always have access to those pure devotees, right? A Vaishnava dies to live, and living tries to spread the holy name. He dies to live. That means what? Even he's left, but still he's there. You can connect with him. And that's why these samadhis are called portals. They are actually places where we connect with these acharyas. We can go and connect with Rupa Goswami even now. The spiritual connection is different. How, like, the Prabhupada, Rupa Goswami actually appeared in front of Prabhupada in Radha temple. It's what they are still there. So the spiritual connection is totally different. But what earlier I said was.
Also, like Prabhu, a couple of years back, there was an incident in Mayapur where one little boy drowned in Ganga. And so the mother is howling, and other women came to console her, saying that the boy has died in Ganga. It is Navadvip Dham. I mean, at some point, Prabhu, sometimes we're trying to be so much in preaching externally that we forget that we are all talking about rasas, as you said. Life is all about emotions, Always, thinking Siddhanta, oh, Devavati is going to Kardama Muni, I should not shed tears, is not what Manu is teaching.
Yeah.
In spite of this is also spiritual relationship. I mean, he is a great saint. His daughter is a great Vaishnavi. I mean, he's going to have Lord in a womb.
Yeah.
He himself is such a great person, like 24 hours, like as you said, like in Bhakti Samhita Sindhu mentions, Bhava Bhakti is when you're continuously doing, right? So he's continuously doing, not a moment miss. So person who is at the stage of Bhava has gross relationship, emotions with his daughter, which is,
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very nice point. So that's a good point. You said it nicely that, it's not like artificial separation. When the time is right, I mean, even the example you gave, I mean, okay, at a later stage, we may actually have that consolation, but not in the immediate. In the immediate, okay, let them cry and sorry, this happened. Blah, blah. But as the time progresses, and okay, at least it was in Mayapur, Navadvip Dham, so certainly gone back home. So that consolation can come little later, but not in the immediate. Okay. Thank you. Nice point. So it's nice to think about this nectar of attachment, right? Okay, so stop here. Let's take a 5 minutes break and we'll start 8:45 with chapter number 23. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. So please come back. Chapter number 23, Devahuti's Lamentation. Okay, let's start text number 1.
Maitreya Uvacha Pitribhyam Prashtite Sadvi Patim Ingita Kovida Nityam Paryacharat Pritya Bhavani Va Bhavan Prabhum.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji Maharaj. Maitreya continued. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served him constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves her husband. Hare Krishna.
So Maitreya Rishi is continuing the story. So now we are back at Kardamuni's ashram, and here it says Pitrabhyam Prasthite. So after departure of the Pitra as father, then what is Devati called by? Sadhavi. Sadhavi. Sadhavi means a chaste woman. So Sadhavi, the chaste woman Devahuti, what did she do? Patim Ingita Kovida. Ingita Kovida means she actually understood the desires of her husband. Right? So Patim Ingita Kovida. And then understanding the desires of her husband, how did she Paryacharat served her? Nityam, constantly, and Pritya, with great love. So in this section, at least the first 3 verses are talking of how Devahuti served her husband. Right? And these same qualities that Devahuti, the qualities which she serves the husband, is also considered as the qualities in which a disciple should serve a guru. So often, like we refer to these three verses as qualities of a disciple in his service to his guru. So from this verse, what do we learn? Patim ingita kovida. So just like Devahuti understood the desires of her husband, a disciple should understand what is the mission or the desire of the spiritual master. And understanding that mood and mission, we say often, right? We have to understand the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. Understanding the mood and mission, then what do? We serve how? Constantly, nityam, and then we serve pritya, with great love. So we have to serve the mission of the spiritual master with great love and constantly understanding the mood of the disciple. We say there are three classes of disciples, right? What is the first category of a disciple? Or let's start with lowest. What's the third category of disciple? The guru will tell, okay, I want you to do this. And still the disciple will not do it. Second level is what? The guru will say, okay, I want you to do this, and disciple will do it. Third, the best level is what? Where the disciple understands what is the mood of the guru, and even before the guru says, the disciple actually does it. And we can actually see in this first level, there's actually more of a super soul connection. Chaitanya Charitamrita in the first chapter actually talks about this, that how the guru is a manifestation of the super soul. Particularly talks of Shiksha Guru. It's a manifestation of the super soul. That means what? The super soul is the heart, and guru is a manifestation of super soul. A first class disciple is one who actually has a super soul connection and understands the need or the desire of the guru even before the guru actually says it. That's the first class devotee. Right? So, and then here the example is given. Eva Bhavani Bhavam Prabhu. Right? Who is Bhavani? Parvati, Bhavani, wife of Lord Shiva. How she serves her husband, similarly Devahuti served Kardama. Now, how is this example appropriate? Because even if you see Parvati, she is the daughter of who? Daksha. Right? We'll read in the fourth canto. Daksha. Daksha is also Prajapati. Right? Very one Prajapati means like a, again with great opulence. But when she married Lord Shiva does not even have a house address. Right? Like Lord Shiva is always under a tree, meditating, no house, nothing. But she served. So even though she's coming from such an opulent background, she gave up all her opulence to be with her husband and served in that austere condition. Similarly here, Devahuti, though she's a daughter, she's a princess, daughter of an emperor, she sacrificed all her opulences to actually serve her husband. So hence that example of that Parvati serving Lord Shiva and Devahuti serving her husband is very appropriate. So Prabhupada mentioned that point in her husband, in the purport. Yeah. And Prabhupada said Lord Shiva, he has no house, he's sitting under a tree, right? So always meditating. Okay, and also Prabhupada makes another point. Unmarried girls are taught to worship Lord Shiva to get a husband like him. Now, if you tell someone, worship Lord Shiva, you'll get a husband like him, people will be like, no, I will go to some marriage matrimonial and maybe they'll find a better husband for me, right? Like, what does this mean? That it is said that unmarried girls worship Lord Shiva to get a husband like him. Not so much of in the sense of like, oh, riches or opulence, but in the sense of his devotion to Lord Krishna. And that's what really matters. And Prabhupada makes a point that Lord Shiva is the greatest of all devotees, and that is the kind of husband you need. Right? If a girl is blessed with a husband who is a great devotee of the Lord, then Krishna will take care of everything. Krishna will take care of maintenance and everything. And Prabhupada also, he's such a great devotee that he's constantly meditating on Lord Ram. He's always chanting the name of Lord Ram, and he himself has this own Vaishnava Sampradaya called Rudra Sampradaya. So if a girl is fortunate to have a husband like Lord Shiva in devotion service, her life becomes perfect. And also a lot about this, like Prabhupada in this purpose, we'll see a lot about the mood of an ideal wife. He talks a lot about the mood of ideal wife. The wife is dependent on the husband. So if a husband is a Vaishnava, naturally wife shares devotional service because she renders service to him. The point is made that the husband is a great Vaishnava and the wife is serving the husband, then the wife will get credit of the husband's austerities. Okay, next verse, text 2.
विश्रम्भेनात्मशोचेन गौरवेण दमेन च शुश्रूषया सुहृदेन वाचमधुरया च भो.
Who's next?
Is it Kusala? No.
Is the Prarthana Mataji? Or should I start?
Yes, next I can read. Thank you. O Vidura, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of senses, with love, and with sweet words. Thank you.
So, what are the qualities of a disciple to a guru we learn from text 1? Who can say?
Know the heart of the guru.
Yeah, know the desires of the guru. And then how do we serve the guru?
With love.
With love and?
Knowing his mood and intention.
Okay, yeah.
Constantly.
Nityam, right? Nityam. So yes, understanding the mood and mission of the guru and serving the guru with love and constantly. That means dedicating our word, our mind and our body in service of the guru. Right? That we learn. Now in this, what do we learn from disciple to guru? That service mood. First is Vishrambhena. That the disciple should serve the guru with intimacy. Intimacy. So Prabhupada explains this point in the purport. He says, Vishrambhena, husband, is a very intimate friend of the wife. Therefore, the wife must render service just like an intimate friend. At the same time, yes, we are serving the spiritual master with intimacy. Sometimes like a disciple may go massage the body of the spiritual master. It's like intimate service. But at the same time, it's not that a disciple should not, I'm massaging guru, I'm providing for the guru. The disciple should not actually lose that spirit of reverence. So hence the next word is Gauravena. So it is Vishrambhena with intimacy, but at the same time, Gauravena with great reverence. Right? So that should be the mood of disciple to guru. Right? Prabhupada also makes the point with wife to husband, so wife must render service, just like intimate friend. At the same time, not that familiarity breeds contempt. Gauravena with great reference. So husband, Prabhupada makes this, he says, man and woman psychology. The husband is very intimate. At the same time, she must understand the husband is superior in position. Thus, she must offer him all respect. The man's psychology and woman's psychology are different. And then there's a natural instinct as that the husband wants to post himself as superior to the wife, and this must be observed. Even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate it, and thus there is no misunderstanding between husband and wife. I mean, this one sentence should be taken carefully, not out of context, in the sense that even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate. So the point is, if the husband is actually a Vaishnava and he's actually practicing sadhana bhakti, even though in the stage of practicing sadhana bhakti, there may be some defects. But if he's sincere in his effect, then the wife may say, okay, he's still, so I'll just tolerate it and still continue to serve the husband. But again, it's not like, the husband is abusing the wife and the wife says, no, he's my husband. I mean, you have to draw the line. So we have to understand that if a Vaishnava husband, then a wife can tolerate and things like that. There'll be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Right. So also here Prabhupada says that in Vedic culture, a wife cannot call her husband by name. In the present civilization, the wife calls her husband by name, but in Hindu civilization, she does not. Thus, the inferiority and superiority complexes are recognized. So I'm not an expert in this field, but human and Prabhupada is talking of man and woman, like the husband and wife, the psychology and how the husband wants to have the superior position. So the wife is serving the husband, then the relationship is very cordial and there's no misunderstanding. Okay, so those are two. So intimacy and then great respect. Now, next few qualities that we learn in the same verse is Atma Sauchena, with purity of body and mind. Third quality in this verse. Right? Then Damena, with control of senses. Sauridena, with love. And Madhurya Vacha, with sweet words. So just in this one verse, you have 6 qualities. Like again, disciple to Guru, and here Devahuti to her husband. Right? So rendering service with purity of body and mind, control of the senses, engaging Sauridaha with love, and Madhurya Vachaha with sweet words.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
Prabhu, we in CC we're reading the section where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya invites Mahaprabhu for the lunch, and then Amogha comes and says something, and then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya orders his daughter to reject him. His wife is telling, may my daughter become a widow. So like, I
I mean,
mean,
so even that point can be practical, that if the husband is, really at the stage where he's like against, like blaspheming Krishna whole day, then does the wife need to stay in that ashram? I mean, it's very circumstantial, depending on their situation. But if it's like continuous blasphemy and there's no hope, then,
Similarly, we can give up a guru who tells us to go against Krishna, right?
yeah, that we have the example of Shukracharya and Bali Maharaj. Yeah. Okay. For the text 3, let's see further more qualities.
And in India also, a lot of people take advantage of this statement, right, Prabhuji? Like
Yeah.
men should be like high, women they treat very badly, not respecting her, like
I mean, that's why I said like this has to be taken carefully.
carefully.
The
Yeah.
husband is sincerely trying to progress in bhakti, and also he's trying that, okay, my whole griha is there. It is a grihastha ashram, not griha medi. If the focus of the husband is in grihastha, that means somehow or other, have some nice sanskar, bring the household in nice Krishna consciousness, then the wife should be tolerant, serve the husband, assist him, and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Women
this
also,
section comes often, like especially the Grihastha seminar, they talk about this section. So they mention the point that, okay, that, the sentence that we are saying, that if the husband is like Kardama, then the wife should be like Devahuti. If the husband has no qualities and he's like a drunkard, then we don't expect the wife to actually have that mood of seva and things like that. And that's not the point here.
yeah, true, Prabhuji. Some women are like, no, I should be down, so they tolerate everything.
I mean, it depends, I mean, this is very, very circumstantial, I mean, even if you don't consider Krishna conscious household, still, if there is some culture, Vedic culture is there, maybe the wife is actually serving the husband. If both of them are not so much focused on Krishna consciousness, then the mood that Prabhupada what is saying, that man and woman psychology is still valid. So the woman is still subservient to the husband, then there'll be not so much fight at home. Otherwise, there will be constant fighting because the woman is like, oh, I am superior to the husband. Then, there is no, in the household, if both of them are saying that they are superior, then constantly they'll be like, okay, who to decide, who makes decisions. So even if you see non-Krishna consciousness, to some point that psychology is actually true. It is just the man's psychology that he wants to be that, oh yeah, I am the head of the household. And the woman is actually serving in that mood, then there'll be more cordial relationships. That's the point.
Yeah, if that person is good person. If husband is good person, good husband.
Right. Yeah, it depends on how do you explain good also, right? I mean, at least you should say not abusive,
Not it. Yes. Yeah.
the whole topic, but
Thank
so
you.
next.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
So after grihastha responsibilities are done, if one of the husband or spouse wants to continue in grihastha, but the other person wants to progress in vanaprastha, then how to handle that? Your grihastha responsibilities are fulfilled.
Okay.
Both are devotees, but one wants to.
I mean, like, the point of vanaprastha is not that we leave everything.
No, not leaving everything.
Yeah. So vanaprastha also, you can be in your griha, but you are actually detaching from the children and children saying, okay, you have your own house, you take care. But vanaprastha means what? Traveling to Vrindavan, traveling to holy places, traveling, to spending more time in temple, doing practical seva. That is there. So if one of them is more inspired than the other to increase their service, increase their travel to holy places, then that person can, in a loving way, convince the other person that, please, let's go to Vrindavan. It's been such a long time. Let's go together. I mean, it can be worked out. It can be worked out. And again, like the spirit of renunciation may be different from a husband and a wife. The wife may have that more spirit of renunciation than the husband. But if the relationship is cordial and both of them are sincere, then through loving words, the wife can actually convince the husband and draw him towards that vanaprastha. Like, see, the bottom line is we want to keep the graha in a good relationship so that we can together progress in Krishna. And sometimes that may require some kind of compromise on the wife, on one of the spouse, even though that spouse is more renounced than the other or more devoted than the other. There may be some level of compromise, and the spouse should be willing to accept that compromise. Okay, I want to do this. I really want to go and do this full day seva, but my other spouse is not so. So let me do a balance so that she's also or he is also like, I'm trying to slowly bring him also to bhakti. So, it's not that, okay, you don't want to come, you stay, I'm going full day. That has to be like some kind of there's still attachment, right? Griha means attachment. So some kind of balance, some kind of intelligence of how to actually inspire the other one also to take a bhakti.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, text 3.
Visrijya kamadambham cha desham lobham maganmadam akramato dita nityam tejiyam samatoshayat.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Working sanely and diligently, she pleased her very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so here, further qualities. So first 3 verses are qualities in which devotee is serving her husband. So here, there are 6 negatives that devotee was giving up. Visrajya. Visrajya means give up. What is the first negative? Kama. She gave up lust. Dambam, pride. So Prabhupada actually explains this point of dambam, and he says that even if the wife is more qualified than the husband, still she should give up false pride. Sometimes, we see like wife either even materially maybe more qualified or even spiritually maybe more devoted, but that does not mean the wife should be proud, right? So give up pride. Then dvesham, envy. Lobham, greed. So lust, pride, envy, greed. Agam, sinful activities. Madam, vanity. Vanity. So that means like excessive pride or admiration of one's own. Oh, I am so beautiful. I am so qualified, like all that. Madam, you have to give it up. And on the positive, what are the 3? Apramata. Should sanely work. Udyata, diligently, and nityam, always. So we saw nityam in first verse, and third verse we see in the nityam, right? And then 6 negative, 3 positive. And through that mood of service, what did she do? Teji Amsam Ato Sayat. She pleased her very powerful husband. So Prabhupada starts the purport by saying the quality of a great husband's great wife. Like just that actually makes a key point that if the husband is so great, then the wife should actually accept all these qualities and serve the husband that way. So quality of a great husband's great wife. Right. And also Prabhupada says sometimes the wife maybe have a higher parentage than the husband, but still wife should not be vainly proud, always submissive to husband, give up all vanity. Right. And then further, Prabhupada goes from Chanakya Pandit, and he says there are 4 kinds of enemies. We heard that yesterday, we heard like in a class we were hearing this point. So first is a father in death. Right? In India, the system is that if the father is dead, the son has to pay back the loan. So if a father has too much debt, then it is coming all on the son. So father is death in the enemy. Second, if the mother is not chaste, the mother is not chaste, she has selected another husband in presence of grown-up children, then that is enemy. Third, the wife deals with the husband roughly, then she becomes an enemy. And the fourth is son is a fool. These 4 are actually enemies of the house. So this is from Chanakya Niti, Prabhupada is quoting. Chanakya Pandit has described 4 kinds of enemies at home. So okay, so those are qualities. So anyone wants to mention, like, we can think husband, wife is also there, but also a disciple to guru. What are the qualities that we learn from the first 3 verses of how we should serve our spiritual master? Quickly, you want to mention?
Always serve the Guru. First, know the heart of the Guru.
Yes.
Understand mood and intention and serve all.
And serve?
Always serve the Guru with body, mind, and words.
Okay. And what is how should one serve? With
Nityam.
Nityam. And also there's one more word, right? In the first one?
Reverence and intimacy.
Okay, that's second verse. But in first verse also there's Pritya. Pritya means great love. Great love. Right? Understand the mood and mission and serve with great love and always, constantly. Okay, then second verse. You're saying?
Serve the Guru with Vishambhara and
Gauravena.
Gauravana.
Right? Vishrambhena and Gauravena. So intimate service, but at the same time maintain the mood of reverence. Right? And then other qualities?
The Atma Sauchena, purity of mind and body.
Yes. Sense control.
Dhamena, control of senses.
Right.
Suhdena, service, and Madhurya, sweet.
Yes, by speaking sweet words, right? And then further text 3, we saw giving up bad qualities, like giving up pride. Also for a disciple, you should not say that, oh, actually, I know more shlokas than my spiritual master. Or I am expert at Sanskrit. My guru does not know so. So, the best example is Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, whose guru is actually Gaur Kishore Das Ji. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur so learned. 7 years old, he learned the entire Bhagavad Gita by heart and could give like explanation, purport, classes, everything. 7 years old. So learned. But his spiritual master, illiterate. But was Bhakti Saraswati Thakur pride? No, he was serving a spiritual master in that mood. So that's a very nice example thing. So giving up all pride, lust, envy, greed, negative qualities, and then at the same time, diligently serving the spiritual master. Okay, text 4 and 5.
Savaidevar Shivaryastam Manavim Samanuvatam Daivatkariya Patyur Asha Sanam Mahashishaha Kalena Bhuyasa Kshamam Karshitam Vratacharyaya Prima Gadgadayavat Vacha Pidita Kripaya Bravit.
The daughter of Manu, who was fully devoted to her husband, looked upon him as greater even than Providence. Thus she expected great blessings from him. Having served him for a long time, she grew weak and emaciated due to her religious observances. Seeing her condition, Kardama, the foremost of celestial sages, was overcome with compassion and spoke to her in a voice choked with love.
So we see like such a sweet interaction. Yes, she has done service in that mood, but how is Kardamuni reciprocating? And here it says, Sa Kardama, Deva Rishi Varya. Certainly, Kardama was a Deva Rishi Varya, the best of Deva Rishi, foremost of all celestial sages. And Manavin Samanu Vrata. And Manavim is referring to the daughter of Swayambhu Manu, right? Manavim. So she fully devoted to her husband and considered him how? Daivat Gariyasaha. Imagine she was considering her husband to be greater than Providence. I mean, normally, like in Grihastha Ashram, we have Krishna and we may have our husband. But here, because husband was such a great devotee of Krishna, she actually considered her husband like a guru. And the guru is like one way greater, more merciful than Krishna. So she's considered her husband greater than Providence, greater than Daivya. And therefore, Kalena Bhuyase, she served him for a very long time, Kalena. And because of that service, Shamam and Karshitam, she became weak, emaciated, Vrata Chavya, by following all the vratas, that means all the religious principles she was following, and because of that, she became weak and emaciated. And then is described Pidita Kripaya. Kardam Muni, out of that mood of kripa, out of compassion, he was actually pidita, almost overcome by the compassion that, see, my wife is serving me with so much love and devotion, and she's not even caring for her own body. Then prema gadgadaya vacha. He was overcome with love. And with a stammering voice, he actually spoke the following words. That is the next verse. And then Prabhupada in the purport, he says, wife is expected to be the same category as husband. That means what? You should be prepared to follow the principles of a husband. If husband is a devotee and the wife is not a devotee, then it cannot be very peaceful. Wife must see the tendencies of the husband and prepare to follow him. And Prabhupada is giving the example of who? Gandhari. And he says, like, how Gandhari, when she came to know that her husband was actually blind, she was thinking that I don't want to be superior to my husband in any way. And imagine her chastity. Even Gandhari is actually considered as one of the chaste women in Mahabharata, that she actually covered her eyes and voluntarily became blind just so that she doesn't become pride. She doesn't feel that I'm superior to my husband. The Prabhupada gives an example of Gandhari. And then Samanurta, duty of wife is to adopt special circumstances in which her husband is situated. And Prabhupada concludes and says, so I mentioned this point earlier, that even if the husband is not a great devotee, wife's duty to adapt herself according to the mentality of the husband. The wife's duty is that she should adopt herself to the mentality of the husband. So that makes married life very happy. And I'm not an expert on the subject, but if anyone has more comments, they can say. Okay, let's proceed. Text number 6. So let's see what Kardama says to Devati.
Prabhu, whose instruction is more important, the husband or the guru's?
I mean, ideally, the husband is actually assisting the spouse in serving the guru. I mean, like one way, if you see in a proper Griha ashram, the husband and wife are like a team serving the guru together. So it is the mood of the, and we are talking ideal, that the spouse or the wife should see that, okay, how can I assist my husband in service to guru? And the husband should see, how should I assist my wife in her service to the guru? And also, like, if you see, one thing interesting in ISKCON is like, many times like husband and wife have different gurus. Like again, in Prabhupada disciples, but different gurus. But we see that still the relationship will be so nice in the sense that if the wife's guru is coming, then both husband and wife go and serve that, him. Or if the husband's guru is coming, then both go and serve that. So, yeah. I mean, if that is contrary, if that is some mood of contradiction, then I feel like, because the mood with guru is also that of intimacy, right? So one can actually reveal to the guru that I received this instruction from you, but my husband's mood is this. What should I do? And, like gurus are not like, oh, that's it, give up. I mean, the gurus are not, they are also practical. They'll say, okay, I've given this instruction, your husband's mood is this. So maybe do this right now so that gradually we can come to this. So, I mean, Guru, like, I mean, it's a blessing to have the Guru to actually go and talk to and express our heart and things like that. Like in Chaupati, they also have this counseling system where they have grihastas and their counselors are senior grihastas. Many times in our ISKCON, it is gurus as sannyasis. So sometimes, in the system there is the guru may say, okay, you have this, talk to the senior grihasta. They will tell you how to live. And I feel like that's such a nice system because, the mood of a sannyasi may not be able to understand the dynamics of griha because whole life he's been a sannyasi. So when you ask senior grihastas, they may have gone through similar situations and they'll say, oh yeah, this is the best thing to do. And, they may be more open to talk about the dealings between husband and wife than a sannyasi would actually do it. Okay, text 6.
Kardama uvacha Dushto hamadya tavamanavimanagadaya Shushushaya paramaya paraya cha bhaktya Yodehi namaya mativa suritsa devo Nave kshita samuchita kshapitam madarte.
Oh, I thought Gopinath Acharya Prabhu is not reading. Pratna, did you read?
I read already. I read the last verse.
Okay. Translation. Kardama Manu said, O respectful daughter of Swayambhu Manu, today I am very much pleased with you for your great devotion and most excellent loving service. Since the body is so dear to the embodied beings, I am astonished that you have neglected your own body to use it on my behalf.
So this is so interesting that it's not that the wife is serving the husband and the husband is like, okay, that's your duty, hence you should do it. I mean, the husband here is reciprocating. He's like, I'm seeing how nicely you're serving me, and now I want to do something for you. So we see the relationship is not like one-sided or superior, inferior, do this, I'm ordering you. It's not that mood. Now, Kardama is actually saying, and what did he say? Tushta aham adyatava. I'm so pleased with your service, O Manavi, O daughter of Manu, and Mana Daya. You have so respectfully, and Shushrushaye Parama Paraya. You have rendered the most excellent and highest service, Bhaktya, with devotion. Right? And what is the symptom of that? It's so selfless that you don't even care for your own body. Ya dehinam ayam ativa surat deha, the body that is extremely dear to oneself. I mean, for us, if anyone comes and hurts our body, immediately we like protect. But you do not even care for your own body, and you have served me with such devotion. Right? Shapitam mata arthe. You have actually sacrificed the wellness of your body for to actually engage in my service. So Prabhupada makes a point that this is a mood of selfless service. Devahuti so faithful to her husband. She served with great devotion, service, and respect. And there was not even sense pleasure. Like, what was the quality we read? Damena. That she was controlling her senses. So even she was a wife, she did not actually engage in sense pleasure. She was just focused on selfless service. And Prabhupada, in the purport you see towards the end, it's a duty of a faithful and chaste wife to help her husband in every respect, especially when the husband is engaged in Krishna consciousness. Right? So again, we have that thing, especially. And then further Prabhupada says, this is not to be expected by a woman who is the wife of an ordinary person. So Prabhupada is also drawing the line in previous purport. He mentioned the point that even if they are not devoted, still certain aspects of psychology are still valid, right? But here, how the wife has sacrificed everything for her husband, Prabhupada is saying, if it's an ordinary husband, then maybe the wife, may not need to do this. Right? So it's not expected of a woman who's a wife of an ordinary husband. Okay. Text 7.
Ye me swadharma Niratasya tapasamadhi vidyatmayoga vichita bhagavat prasada tammete mad anusevanaya varudhan drishtim tapashya vitaramya bhayana shokan.
Translation. Kardamuni continued, I have achieved the blessings of the Lord in discharging my own religious life of austerity, meditation, and Krishna consciousness. Although you have not yet experienced these achievements, which are free from fear and lamentation, I shall offer them all to you because you are engaged in my service. Now just look at them. I'm giving you how nice they are.
Okay. So now we are seeing Kardamuni's reciprocation. So what does he say? Ye Bhagavad Prasada. That all the prasada I got, not prasada, not prasada. Maybe prasada also the husband should share with his wife. But here he's saying all the mercy that I got from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, achieved by me, Vijitaha, that I have achieved, Swadharma Niratasya, when I actually engage fully in a life. How many years Kardamuni did austerities for?
10,000.
10,000 years. So he's saying 10,000 years I did austerity, and what blessings I received because of my tapaha, austerity, samadhi, meditation, vidya, Prabhupada says in Krishna consciousness, atma yoga, fixing my mind. All that austerity, whatever benefit I received, tan eva te mat avarudhan, right, will be obtained by you. Imagine 10,000 years of austerity, all the result. He's actually saying, you serve me so selflessly, here, I'll give you everything. So we see that sweet reciprocation between husband and wife. And further he says, Anusevana, because of your devoted service. And then Drishtam Prapasya Vitan. I'm giving you, just see with Prapasya, with transcendental vision. And Abhayam Ashokam. They are free of fear and lamentation. So what does it mean that he says, Drishtam Prapasya Vitarami? I'm giving you divine vision. See, if you know the value of a gift, then you will really appreciate it. So here, Kardama is actually not only giving the benefit of his austerity, but he's also giving the vision to Devavati to appreciate what she is getting. Right? Sometimes, sometimes you may, render some service to a guru, and the guru will say, okay, all blessings upon you. And he may just show his hand this way and say, okay, that has to blessings. Now one may say like, I did so much service. For months I've been serving tirelessly. And all guru is just saying this. But we may not appreciate that by the blessings of the guru, everything needed for us to be successful is actually coming. Right? So here, Kardama is actually giving Devahuti the vision to appreciate the gift. I'm saying, okay, here, take the gift. And then further, he actually also says, Abhayam and Ashokam. These gifts are free from fear and lamentation. Okay. So Prabhupada makes the point that devotee, though she was not so advanced in austerity and meditation, she was getting all the husband's achievements, which she could neither see nor experience. Therefore, he's actually giving the eyes for her to see. And then further, Prabhupada says, what is the mercy of the Lord? What is the mercy of the Lord?
Fearlessness. Abhaya, free from fearfulness.
Yeah, free from fearfulness, right? So may we consider the mercy of the Lord as prasadam. Prasadam is the only mercy of the Lord. But in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, text 65, what does it say? Vaisheshekha Prabhu always quotes this also with prasadam prayer. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanir asyopajayate prasanna chetaso buddhi vyaparya vishtistate. Actually in 265 it says, Prasade sarva dukkhanam. When you get prasadam, Okay, don't think of prasadam only Dwadashi prasadam feast. Prasadam here means mercy of the Lord. When you get prasadam, prasade sarva dukkhanam. All our dukkha are actually washed away. So when the Guru is giving blessings, sarva dukkhanam. All the mercy is washed away. Hanir asyopajayate. Right? Hane means all our sarva dukkhanam hani, destroyed. Right? And then what happens? Prasanna chetaso hi apno. Our mind becomes prasanna. Right? Buddhi paryavasase and becomes established in buddhi. So this is the blessing that counts. Prasade means what? Sarva dukkhanam hanir, all our dukkha is actually vanquished. Then prasanna chetaso, our mind becomes happy, and buddhi, our intelligence is actually well established. This is the mercy of the Guru. So Prabhupada in the purport, he quotes different verses from Bhagavad Gita talking of the mercy of the Lord, how they are free from fearfulness and lamentation. So one verse I quote 265. Another verse from Bhagavad Gita is 1858. Mat chitta sarva dukana mat prasadam, again prasada, tarishasi, atha cheta tvam ahankaram na shoshasi vinakshati. That here is saying that if you receive my mercy, machita sarva dukkhanam, you will actually cross over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. Right? Further, 1854, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. Right? What is the blessing we are getting? No more hankering, no more lamentation. Right? Then our bhakti starts. And then also Prabhupada towards the end, he quotes one verse from Prabodhananda Saraswati. Yeah, Prabhupada said, if one achieves the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he becomes so great that he does not care a fig even for the demigods. He thinks monism as hell. So if you want this reference, you can just search Kaivalyam Narakayate in Vedabase. Right? This is Chaitanya Chandramrita, text number 5. Kaivalyam Narkayate, Tridasha Pura Akasha Pushpayate. Then Durdantraya Kala Sarpa Patale, Prokhay Damstayate, Vishwam Purna Sukhayate, Vidhi Mahendraischa Kita Yate, Yat Karunya Kataksha, Vaibha Tam Tam Goram Evastumuhu. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has perfectly enunciated and broadcast the process of Bhakti Yoga. Consequently, for one who has taken shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the highest perfection of the Mayavadis, Kaivalya, or becoming one with the Supreme, is considered hellish. Kaivalya Narkayate. Then Tridasha Apasha Pushpayate, to say nothing of the Karmi's aspiration for heavenly planets. Devotees consider such goals to be worthless, phantasmagoria, okay, and so on. So this entire purport Prabhupada is actually making the point that how when we receive the mercy, then that is the highest thing. We like everything else becomes secondary. And then Prabhupada also talks of secret of success. For spiritual achievement, the easiest path is to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and to serve him with heart and soul. Yasya prasada, Bhagavad prasada. Yasya prasada, nagati kutopi. That is the secret of success. Text 8.
Anye punar bhagavato bhuva udvijrimbha Vibram shitartha rachanati murukramasya siddhasi bhukshva vibhavani cha dharma dohan divya narayaguravidhan vita vikriyabhidhi.
Arundhati Mataji, have you read?
Yes, Mataji, it's your turn.
Kardama Muni continued, what is the use of enjoyments other than the Lord's grace? All material achievements are subject to be annihilated simply by a movement of the eyebrows of Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By your principles of devotion to your husband, you have achieved and can enjoy the transcendental gifts very rarely obtained by persons proud of aristocracy and material possessions. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So, what is the gift that Kardama is actually giving Devahuti? Giving like a gold chain or a diamond necklace. He's saying that gift I'm giving, anye punaha. What is the use of any other gift other than the prasada of the Lord? The gift that I'm giving, the result of all my austerities, there's nothing greater than this gift, right? Why? Because anything else other than the mercy of the Lord, simply by the vibrashita artha rachana, simply by the movement of the eyebrow, or bruha means eyebrow, right? Simply by the movement of the eyebrow of the Lord, everything else is annihilated. You know, in another place in Bhagavatam, the eyebrows are considered to what? Like the factor of time. So as soon as the movement of the eyebrows by time, everything is annihilated. So what is the value of something? If I give you, like, if the husband is saying, okay, here, I give you a nice gift, but that expires in tonight. I'm like, what? I mean, like, I did so much seva, and now it's like you're giving just something for like 2 hours and that's going to expire. Not worth it. So here is saying the gift I'm giving you, even by the movement of the eyebrows of the Lord, is not going to be vanquished, because it's unlike any material achievement which is going to be vanquished. And then further it says, Siddha Asi Bhungsha Vibhan. You have successfully obtained and can enjoy these transcendental gifts. Nija Dharma Doha, attained by your own principles of devotion. So, how did you guess this? Because you serve me so selflessly with devotion, you are receiving love of Godhead. So, Prabhupada is saying that Devahuti got love of Godhead by serving her husband. And when the wife serves a great the husband who's a great devotee, the husband will bless the wife with that prema that he has in his heart. You know, and this is true for spiritual master, right? Guru disciple. When the disciple serves the guru, pleases the guru, then what gift the guru gives? Finally, he'll give the bhakti that is in his heart to the heart of the disciple. And that's what we really want. That's how you can progress in bhakti, by receiving that bhakti from a bhakta. Right? So that's what. So here, Prabhupada is making the point that the gift that devotee received is actually love of God. And then he says, Narahi Duragin Nripa Vikriya Bhi. That these gifts are very difficult for obtain for those who are proud of aristocracy and material position. Which verse is this? It's very difficult to obtain Krishna if one is proud of his aristocracy and material positions.
Janmaishwarya Sudhashri.
Janmaishwarya Shrutashriddhi Etapurna Adapurna Nayavate Abhitatume Tvam Akinchana. You have to become an Akinchana Gochara to actually receive the mercy of God. That we may have, but we are not proud of anything. Yeah? Everything is Krishna, using Krishna service. But if you are constantly aspiring for a good birth, Janma, Aishwarya, Shrutashri, then you are not qualified candidate for obtaining love of God. Right? So Prabhupada in the purpose says the greatest achievement of human form of life is what? What did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? What is the Panchama Purushartha?
Love of God.
Prema Pumartha Mahan. Prema Pumartha Mahan. That is the highest, right? I think the love of God. And she got all the love of God just by service to her husband. Right? So although Devahuti, a princess from a great royal family, she served under the supervision of her husband. She gave away and gave up all her opulence and everything and served with sincerity, with love, with affection, and satisfied Kardamuni. Further, Prabhupada actually makes a point. The love of God is not easy to obtain. It is extremely rare. What is the shloka of Bhagavad Gita to make this point?
Manushyanam Sahasresha.
Nice. Thank you. Manushyanam Sahasrara. Out of thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. Out of those who are endeavoring for perfection, hardly one knows Krishna in truth. So love of God is so rare. But what? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu broke open the gates of love of God and he distributed the love of God to everyone. That which is actually very, very difficult to obtain. Bhagavad Gita is saying, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. That same highest gift, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu broke open the gates and he's saying, everyone, qualified, unqualified, take it, take it, take it. You have to pay only one price. What is that price?
Shraddha.
Shraddha. Shraddhavan jana hai, Shraddhavan jana hai. Oh, men of faith, You just have to say, yes, all I have to do is accept the lotus feet of Gaur Nitai. And then, that's the Shraddha. Right? So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 929, we say, you can write this, nice references. Adi 929. Mage va na mage keha, patra va apatra, ihara vichara nahi jane, deya matra. Right? So you can understand. Mageva, no mageva. Those are asking, those are not asking. They don't care. Patra va apatra. You're fit, you're unfit. Right? Ihara vichara nahi teki. They don't see. You're asking for love of God? No, you're not asking. You're fit, you're not fit. Still, they don't consider all this. Deha matra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply gave love of God to everyone. Right? Then one more reference from Adi 7:23. Patra prata vichara nahi, nahi sthana sthane. Ye jane paya taha kare prema dane. In distributing love of God, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and associates did not consider who is fit or who is unfit. Right? Where such distribution should take place, where it should not place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of God. Right? So Prabhupada so nicely in this purport, he says, yes, love of God is so rare, but by mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if you're not qualified, you can receive this greatest gift. Okay, so let's see. Okay, maybe one more shloka we'll do and then we can stop. Text 9.
Evam bhuvanam balakila yogamaya vidyati chakshanamaveksha gatadhirasit samprashraya pranaya vivalaya dideshat vridavaloka vilasad dasitana naha.
Hare Krishna translation. Upon hearing the speaking of her husband, who excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science, innocent Devahuti was very satisfied. Her smiling face shining with a slightly bashful glance, she spoke in a choked voice because of great humility and love.
So here says, Evam Bruvana, when Devahuti was hearing Kardama say that I am giving you love of God. Imagine when you hear, if someone comes and says, the Guru comes and says, for you, for your service, here, I give you love of God. Imagine that day, right? We aspire for that day. But here, Devahuti, when she heard, and it says Abala, innocent Devahuti, when she heard Kardama speak, and then Kardama is described as what? Akhila Yoga Maya Vidya Vichakshana. That means Kardama, who is so great that Akhila Yoga Maya, he's excelled in knowledge of all kinds of transcendental science. He's actually achieved, surpassed all transcendental educational activities, right? Very advanced person. So when she heard, because why is it glorifying Kardama in this verse? That Kardama is not making a joke here. He is actually qualified to give love of Godhead, right? So hence Bhagavatam is telling, he is so qualified, he can do that. He can do that, right? So he is giving that. And then how did the Devahuti respond? She became very satisfied. And then there are 4 points that describe. So we start from the bottom. It says, Vilasat Hasita. Her face, she was smiling on her face. The shining face was smiling. Ishat Vrida, she was slightly like bashful that, oh, I don't deserve this, but my husband is giving me love of God. Slightly bashful. Vivalaya Gira, her voice became choked up. And then Samprasya Pranaya, with humility and love, she spoke the following words, right? Which is the next verse. So we'll see what Devahuti actually spoke. So did Devahuti appreciate this gift?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. With great humility and love.
So she knew that she was receiving something very, very precious, which is rarely obtained, but at the same time, she had another desire. Right? So now she'll express, yes, I received that greatest gift, but I want a child. Right? So that's the next part. And the chapter flows in this way that she says, I want a child. And Kardama is like, okay, I'll give you. But Devotee is saying like, I am so emaciated. I have been serving you like so many years. I know, years. They don't say, Bhagavatam doesn't say, searching for Kalena for a very long time. And I am like this, like torn clothes and all. How can we even have union in this state? And Kardamuni understood. Oh, Devati, you're thinking like that? Okay. So first of all, he builds a whole like a planet or like a spaceship, aerial spaceship filled with gardens and jewels and everything. He say, okay, you want to unite? Here. The whole thing is going to manifest. And then we'll see how Devati transforms also. And then they come and they enjoy for a very long time. 100 years they're enjoying. So we see again nectar of attachment, and then after attachment, detachment. Kardamuni says, "Okay, children, bye bye." And Devoti says, "You give daughters, what about son?" And he says, "Okay, one son," and he goes bye bye. Very interesting that relationship, this especially this first few verses. Very nice to see that mood of husband and wife. Wife serving the husband so pleased with the service. He's saying, okay, whatever you want, like the highest thing I have, I'm giving to you. And that relationship is very nice to see. Okay, so just stop here. Darshan Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
So, Prabhu, if Devavati would not have asked for the children, or she would have been satisfied with like Krishna Prema, like say, suppose something, as you said, if Guru comes to your house and says that I'm giving you, and we're again going back to like the topic of desires in front of the Lord. So, like, if Devavati wouldn't have asked the further, then what would have happened? Like,
I mean, like one reason we see the whole underlying theme of this. Why did Kardamuni perform austerity for so long? He knew that his whole thing was to create progeny, right? So it was there. So, but here he's giving Devotee the highest. He's saying, "You serve me so nicely. All the results of my austerities are for you." But he knew that the whole thing is progeny, and he also promised Swayambhuva Manu. He already said, I will be with her until there's children. So he knew that this is a natural sequence of what is to happen. But in the interaction with husband and wife, it is one way, when the wife is actually asking the husband, it is also an expression of exchange there, right? So Kardamuni knew that is the next thing to happen, but by Devahuti kind of indicating that is, okay, she's saying this, and then Kardamuni, okay, you want this? Okay, I'll fulfill all your desire. I'll create this whole airplane. You will be dressed so opulently. Thousands of maid servants will come. And then it's like, again, reciprocation, back and forth. Rather than, okay, I know what you want. I'll just do that's like, seems more mechanical. But the exchange of rasa we see. But naturally in the sequence next was children for sure, because the whole thing was creating progeny. Yeah. I mean, like, even practically, that may be the thing that maybe the husband already knows that, okay, wife wants this, but he lets the wife actually ask, just so that, there is that exchange of love, and then the husband reciprocates. I mean, it's just kind of that relationship. Okay. Please don't quote me anything in this verse with your other spouse and say like, oh, he said this in Bhagavatam, and hence you have to do this. I'm not an expert. You can quote Prabhupada's purport, but don't quote me.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. Prabhuji, Swayambhuva Manu he lived his long life, 71 Divya Yugas, in Krishna consciousness. He didn't give love of Godhead to his children. Was he not qualified enough that Kardama Muni is giving love of Godhead to Devati? Why not his father?
Yeah. I mean, the point is that, how we read before also, that the girl, first of all, she is under the care of the father. And then next is the husband. So, and then the elder son. And we see all the three sequence here. Swayambhuva Manu, Kardamuni, and then Kapila. Right? All three. It is perfect that way. So, yes, when the child was growing up, then the Swayambhuva Manu, he was actually taking care of a child just like a daughter. I mean, that part of the Bhagavatam is not there. But we know that how Prabhupada makes the point that Devoti was not advanced in austerities and meditation. She was a princess. So the father was taking care of her in a Krishna conscious way, right? Sometimes children, they grow up in a family of Krishna consciousness, but not necessarily that they attain perfection while they are in their father's house. When they're growing up, then when they get married, maybe it's like, okay, I learned all these samskars. Now is the time I need to take up my sadhana seriously. Now is the time when I need to do this, right? So at the right time, Karda Muni actually gave her. So maybe that culture was there, the samskar was there, but now she's actually receiving that gift of love of God. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Any points? Okay, so thank you so much. So we'll stop here, continue next time. We'll read about the entire devotee's request for a child and how they actually unite. And hopefully we can finish, like next few shlokas, we can go very fast. I mean, the description of the palace and then the enjoyment of Kardama and devotee. The last part we'll need to spend a little time. So hopefully next time we can finish this chapter. The last few shlokas are very nice actually. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha, Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you all so much for your association. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.